All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Gonna pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. Another shall come in his own name, whom you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Come on, Silo. Lamentations of Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 16. Peace, brother Omar, man.
The crown is fallen from our head. Woe unto us that we have sinned. For this our heart is faint. For these things our eyes are dim. Because of the mountain of Zion, which is desolate, the foxes walk upon it. You, O Yahuah, remain forever, your throne from generation to generation. Wherefore do you forget us forever and forsake us so long time?
Indeed.
Turn you us unto you, O Yahuah, and we shall be turned. Renew our days as of old. But you have utterly rejected us. You are very wroth against us.
Indeed. So we were talking about when we started. I know we focused on certain things in verse 1, but we 1 and 2 Wednesday, man. But I know we had a lot of conversation about the Sabbath and something else. Oh yeah, marriageable age. So let's get back to the root of the matter so we can knock this chapter out. Pick this up at verse 1, man. Same chapter of Lamentations of Jeremiah, chapter 5. Shalom, Jay.
Remember, O Yahuah, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens.
That's right.
We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows.
That's right.
We have drunken our water for money.
Our wood
sold unto us.
Our neck
are under persecution.
We labor
and have no rest.
I think we refer to that, right? You say our necks are under what?
Persecution.
Given what persecution mean by definition, man.
That is radaf, to be behind, follow after, pursue, to persecute, to run after.
To persecute. And I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but we're going to read the passage anyway. John 15 and 15.
Henceforth,
Shalom, Aaron, man.
I call you not servants, for the servant know not what his Lord do.
That's right.
But I have called you friends, for all things that I've heard of my Abba I have made known unto you.
What else?
You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you,
and what else?
And ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit.
And what
that
else?
Your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of the Abba in my name, he may give it you.
What else?
These things I command you, that you love one another. If the world hates you, you know that it
if the world what?
Hate you.
Know that it
hated me before, hated you.
That's right.
If you were of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world,
but I
have chosen you out of the world.
What happened?
Therefore the world hates you.
What else?
Remember the word that I said unto you?
What's that word?
The servant is not greater than his Lord.
And
if they have persecuted me,
they will
also persecute you.
Now stop. Go to John 16 and 1. Now, of course, y'all know that, right? And this goes back to the conversation we was having about the children of the flesh persecute the children of the spirit as it is this day. You know what I'm saying? And of course, that can take us down many different roads, whether you look at, Esau and Jacob, Cain and Abel, you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. As far as how they interacted and dealt with these individuals. Isaac and Ishmael, which I know we looked at that because that was in the Galatians, that it was referencing that. You know what I'm talking about? But nevertheless, our necks are under persecution. He said we labor and have no rest. Go ahead. This is John 16 and 1, by the way.
These things have I spoken unto you, that you should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time come that whosoever kill you will think that he do Elohim service.
That's right.
And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Abba nor me. But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, you may remember that I told you of them. These things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. But now I go my way to him that sent me.
That's good, man. What he say gonna happen? Read it again from the top, man.
So these things I have spoken unto you, that you should not be offended.
See, listen, now he say, I'm telling you this ahead of time, so you don't get upset about it. You know what I'm saying? Which is part of the reason that periodically we make reference to these things, man, because, everybody going to want you to believe you're going to be persecuted because you're an Israelite. persecuted because you're so-called black or whatever the case may be, but they're going to persecute you because of the word and because of the name of Yahushua and who he represent and what he represent, and you being diametrically opposed to whatever these people got going on. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of people make their mouth fry fish. They can say a whole lot of things, but when it come down to the come down, everybody a gangster to that pressure come. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, man, I done seen dudes say they was the most solid, thorough individuals in the world till the people started talking about years in prison. You know what I'm saying? When you go to talk about people freedom, you go to talk about people life, that's when you're going to see how dedicated they are to whatever particular cause that they profess to believe in. Because it's easy to say you believe in something when something's comfortable. It's easy to say you believe in something when you on your phone or you in your living room selling out on the internet. You know what I'm talking about? Or you at the house just sitting in there chilling because there ain't no pressure. You know what I'm saying? We've said it many times before, and I'll say it many times again until I expire, that adversity is where the character of a man is revealed. You know what I'm saying? This is part of the reason why Yahushua said, hey, because of persecution and tribulation, by and by, they are offended because they ain't got no root in them. And people don't like to hear that because, you know, they get exposed, like I told you, and you can see that. And that's not necessarily to pinpoint ladies per se, just because they're the ones who's going to be more inclined to make this statement. And there's nothing actually inherently wrong, you know, fundamentally with them making this statement. They'll say, hey, I don't want no struggle love. But what does that mean? Usually that entails you don't want to get with somebody who down bad when you meet them. You know what I'm talking about? Which is completely 100% understandable. But then you have people who go further, that if there's some type of struggle that happens, if it wasn't there in the beginning, they're going to leave. They don't even realize that's really a reflection of your character. Because when things are not easy, when things are not comfortable, you don't have a desire to be there under the guise of, oh, I can do bad by myself, woo, woo, woo. Now, when you take that in the aspect of not looking at it from a male-female interpersonal dynamic and look at how individuals relate that as forth as interacting with their God, you see people do that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Somebody died, lose your job, things don't go the way that you want them to go. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, man, this is how people behave. Oh, I don't fool with God no more, because why am I dealing with this or dealing with that? If I was going to do bad, what am I coming? Shalom, Johnny Goes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to look at it like that, man, for real, though. Like, that's how the game go. Shalom, Sister Dean. Read this Jeremiah 6:1, man. He really just want verse 2, but read verse 1.
O you children of Benjamin, gather yourselves to flee out of the midst of Jerusalem, and blow the trumpet of Tekoa, and set up a sign of fire in Beth Karim, for evil will appear out of the north and great destruction. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
But he's talking about the aspect of why just like how women had this mentality. And it's no different in the word, man. You know what I'm saying? Because most people don't want adversity. People want things to be as comfortable and easy as possible. And that's just simply for the fact of most people don't want their character to be exposed. But this is why he said, I've chosen you through the furnace of affliction. And why he said you got to take up your stake and follow him. Because everybody is going to suffer. Matter of fact, go to 2 Timothy, man. Chapter 3, man. Verse 11, man. Man, these people need to stop scamming.
Persecutions, afflictions, which come unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra, with persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. Yea, and all that will live godly in Hamashiach Yahushua.
All that live what?
Godly.
All that live what?
Godly.
What they gonna suffer?
Persecution.
My God, today. Now, given persecution by definition in the Greek. Now, this is stemming from Lamentations chapter 5, verse 5. Our necks are under persecution, we labor and have no rest.
That is dioko, to make, to run, or flee, to put to flight, to drive away. Got to pursue is pretty much the same thing.
That means you're going to be pursued by individuals. You understand? Now, let's look at where the pursuit began as it pertains to Yahushua, because that's pretty easy for y'all to grasp. Let's go to Matthew chapter 26, man. Matter of fact, don't even go there. John 18:1. That one that gets straight to the point, right to it. So we could read, oh, you're going to come out against me like a thief with swords and staves. But let's just look at what we get from John 18:1. And again, man, I'm not saying I don't want, because people get caught up on stuff because you be in your feelings and you're on the internet all day and you're looking at people doing man versus woman stuff. The reality is that the mentality of people that they express in certain situations, usually overarching, is the mentality of a vast amount of people, regardless of gender, in a particular society that you live in. And what I've noticed in almost 46 years of living is that most people don't want anything to do with adversity, period. You know what I'm saying? Now I forgot who I seen share that junk. Well, it was a real one dude was like, he don't want to be cool with a dude who ain't never been through nothing in his life. And you know what I'm saying? I get where he coming from. Shalom, Brother Robert. I ain't gonna look at a dude who ain't never experienced any type of hardship in his life differently, because he might experience hardship and have more grit and metal than somebody who's been dealing with it their whole life. Because just because you've been dealing with a lot of things don't mean that you excel at dealing with it. And just because this person, because tribulations and sufferings and persecutions and things of that's intestinal and testicular fortitude. That's grit. That's the innateness inside that man. Some men don't even know what type of strength and courage they have until they forced to summon it. You know what I'm saying? Straight them down. Some men just go through stuff and they just float through it and hope they can get on the other end. They really ain't strong like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you got some people who crumple under the pressure. I don't look at the dudes who crumple under the pressure any type of way. I just know everybody ain't that strong. Some dudes will look at it, these weak niggas, this, that, there, and the third. I know everybody ain't that strong. I know from a woman's point of view, as we were talking about last week in the regards of, the things that people in certain positions and men have to deal with, women don't necessarily look at it and be like, everybody ain't that strong. She just going to be disgusted that you weak. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got to like it. You ain't got to agree with it. It just is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? Nevertheless, we read where Yahuah got weak. Getting weak is not a bad thing. Clearly, Isaiah 40 tells you the same thing, and that he gives strength to the weary or to the weak or to the faint. So that's going to occur. See, the aspect of life is, you know what I'm talking about? It's not that you get weak, but how do you respond in those moments? You dig? Because as you know in 2 Corinthians 12, indeed, Omar, it's different measures of faith and strength and things of that nature. Shalom, Brother Shaul. You know what I mean? Because, Yahushua told Paul, hey, man, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the reality of what it is. Because, you know what I'm saying? Based on how you are socialized in this particular God-forsaken society, it's frowned upon for a man to even have a moment of weakness. See, the problem is niggas feed into that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wasn't raised or taught by men to tell me to feed into that. It was, hey, this is how you deal with it. You know what I'm talking about? This is how you move with it. The aspect to think, oh, you should never be weak is retarded because you're a human being. You know what I'm saying? That's not even something fathomable that you could even have in your brain to think that that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to happen. The aspect is how do you respond to it? Because it's going to happen. You know what I'm talking about? And any one of you who've been living long enough, you know that. Now, whether you've openly discussed it with individuals, that's another conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like I mentioned last week, you shouldn't talk about your weaknesses until you've overcame them with people. That's man or woman. See, the main reason why women don't understand why you don't do that, because men know when you're dealing with other men, you're dealing in competitive environments. When you're dealing with a competitive environment, and it's not to say that you can't do this with your friends, you're talking about in general. If you expose your weaknesses, that allows you to be overcame. You know what I'm saying? That's just a reality. That's not a reality that women have to live with, because you're competing against other women, because y'all know y'all do that, but that's another conversation for another day. But nobody's taking, usually in general, packs of women are not looking at how I can position myself to overtake you, because you've exposed where you are vulnerable at. You know what I'm saying? In general, with men, if you run the business, you can't show your weaknesses. If you're in something else, you can't show that. And it just is what it is. See, people hear that it shouldn't be like that. It doesn't matter what it should be like. You got to deal like what it is. I just told Muffin this the other day. That world outside that door cold, man. And don't nobody give a damn about you. You know what I'm saying? And you can't train, teach, and prepare your children for a world that don't exist. You know what I'm saying? You got to train them for the world that's out there. You know what I'm saying? Like we were talking about this the other day. If you're like, church kids go out there, they run buck wild. I say, man, church kids don't run buck wild because they in the church. They run buck wild because you shelter them. They run buck wild because you ain't give them the real. They run buck wild because you ain't give them the game. So when they go out there, they think they missing something, or they're intrigued by what they seeing because you didn't want to tell them what's really out there. And you ain't want to give them the uncut, gritty, real information of what's really out there and what can happen to you, because you scared to look your daughter in the face and say, this is what's going to happen if you be a hoe. This is what happened to hoe. And there's these type of men out here, and these type of women out here. And this is how the world really works. And this is how your government works. This is how the police operate. This is what it is to be black in this society. Like straight up, uncut, no filter, no feelings, no emotions. This is what it is. This is the world you got to face. You want to paint them a fantasy world, and they go out there and they get disappointed. They go out there and they get taken advantage of because you didn't prepare them. You didn't tell them, so they didn't know. Yeah, you got to tell them. You know what I'm saying? You got to tell them, man, look at, man, whatever world you want to be out there, it ain't out there. Whatever dream world you want to paint to them, you failing them. You got to tell them the truth. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear no junk about you should train your sons to not do this, that, then the third if a woman dressed this way. Hey, man, that's not my job. I can't train 5,000 men I don't know. 500,000 men I don't know. 10 million men I don't know. But what I can do is train you to how to identify certain things so you don't put yourself in danger. Because I can't control that. The only thing I can control is what I do. You know what I'm saying? I've had many conversations with ladies about that. I've told y'all this recently. A lot of ladies believe that men have more influence over other men than they actually have. And I didn't really realize that until the last 3 to 5 years of ladies really believing you should hold these men accountable. I'm like, but niggas do though. I can't make this nigga listen. You know what I'm saying? He said, that boy, so he said that what this week video was about, like and subscribe. That boy, that's stupid. I can't control that. Like I can't control that. That's something that ladies have to understand. As a man, the only influence over men that you have is men who are in your circle of influence. But even with that, and you know what I tell them? The same thing I told you plenty of times. If the book say God say they not going to listen to me, then I already know that they're not going to listen to me. Now, what does that mean? That doesn't mean that I'm going in thinking that they're not going to listen. I'm going in with the thought process, irregardless if I tell this man right or wrong. I know if the almighty maker of all things, Yahuah of hosts, say, hey, Ezekiel, they're not going to hear you because they don't hear me. I know in reality, I don't stand a chance. Because if they won't hear the words of God, they're not going to hear my words. When you know and understand that, man, you just tell a nigga what it is and go on about your business. If he going to do something about it, he going to do something about it. And if he's not, then he's not. I can't make it. And that's when they think, well, you should just beat him up. So you want me to throw my freedom away, my life away? I'm not doing all that. He going to have to live with whatever he got going on, cuz I'm not doing all that. I ain't doing all that. But come on, Sylvain. What you got?
John 18:1.
Go ahead with it.
He said, when Yahushua spoke in these words, he went forth with his disciples over the brook Kedron, where was a garden, into the which he entered and his disciples. And Judas also, which betrayed him, knew the place, for Yahushua oftentimes resorted there with his disciples. Mm-hmm. Judas then, having received a band of men and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, come there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Yahushua, therefore, knowing all things that
Knowing
should come
all
upon
things.
him, went forth and said unto him,
What he
Who
said?
seek you? They answered him, Yahushua of Nazareth. Yahushua said unto them, I am he.
I am he.
Judas also, which betrayed him,
Shalom, brother
stood
Mark.
with them. As soon as he had said unto them, I am he, they went backward and fell to the ground.
To the ground.
Then asked he them again, Whom seek you? And they said, Yahushua of Nazareth. Yahushua answered, I have told you that I am he. If therefore you seek me, let these go their way.
Let these go their way.
That the saying might be fulfilled, which he spake at them.
What he told?
Them which you gave me have I lost none. Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it, and smote the high priest's servant, and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. Then said Yahushua to Peter,
Peace, each man.
Put up your sword into the sheath. The cup which my Abba have given me, shall I not drink it?
Now, I didn't mention that because you see that, hey, next under persecution, they coming to get him. They coming to chase him. Only difference is he ain't fleeing. You know what I'm talking about? He not running. Matter of fact, they fell backwards when he said something to them. Now, did we finish what I wanted to 2 Timothy? We did not. Yeah, we did, but you can come back and read it again. 2 Timothy 3 and 12. You can read 11. Yeah, you know, I mean, even before I got in the word, I knew that, man. The only person in this life that you can control is yourself. You can't control your children. You can't control your old lady. You can't control your peers. You can't control nobody but yourself. And the thought process of trying to control other people, in my humble opinion, it's got to be the dumbest thing that you could ever try to do. You know what I'm saying? I had somebody mention this when we was that I grew up with, and they was like, you know, when we was young, you know, I felt like, you know, you was moving to try to want to control me, and I can't be controlled. And I was like, nigga, what the hell made you think that? I'm not trying to control nobody. And the only reason why, because that's too much energy to be expended. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the energy to do all that. I never had. Not when I was in my 20s, not when I was in my teens, not in my 30s, definitely not in my 40s. Man, you do what you want to do. Because you know why? You're going to do what you want to do anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I always looked at things in this regard. Why try to control and push somebody to do something that they clearly don't want to do when you could just be around people who own that type of time? You know what I'm saying? Like I always see dudes, why would you, when you get in a relationship, you gonna still dress like this? I'd be like, bro, why would you get with a woman who dressed a certain type of way and then think because you make her your old lady, she's supposed to stop dressing like that? Because that's who she was from the jump street. So if you didn't want a woman who dressed like that, why didn't you just get with a woman who don't dress like that? And you ain't got to go through all that. If you don't want a woman who be up in the club, then why you messing with a woman who be up in the club and think, oh, because you say I'm your man now, she's supposed to stop. And now you mad because she don't stop. That's retarded. You know what I'm saying? Or how some people be like, hey, I want a man who in the word. Or like I see ladies say, I want a man who go to church and then try to make the man. Why don't you just get a man who already do that? You can't make this person become or be on what you want. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Just mentioned this yesterday, man, because you know where that stuff come from? I know men do it, but ladies do it more often. You create expectations in your mind of people. Expectations that they haven't agreed to and don't even know exist. And that these people will never be able to meet these expectations that you've created for them in your mind. And then when they don't meet them expectations, then you have resentment and anger with somebody about expectations that they didn't even know that you had for them. And that is a level of delusion and stupidity that can't be quantified in any shape, form, or fashion. And that's why so many people walk around this country miserable. You know what I'm talking about? Because you be like, she should have been doing this and he should have been doing that. I expected this. Man, you should only expect people to be who they are. And if who they are don't jive with you, then you shouldn't mess with them. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. You shouldn't expect this woman to be a housewife and that ain't nothing she ever expressed or said, but you got this expectation because that's the type of woman you want. So now you want to impress this expectation on her. See, it's different if you be like, okay, we had some kids. You know, if you want to stay to the house, you can stay to the house or whatever the case be. That's different. I'm talking about you got men who come into interactions with women that they have an expectation that they want their wife to be a housewife. They don't never find out if she even desire or want to be on that type of time. You know what I'm talking about? Marry her, have children from her, and then impress that expectation on her, and then be shocked if she don't want to do it. You be like, oh man, she tripping. She just, cause you created an expectation for this woman that she didn't even know existed. And now you mad with her because she won't meet it. That's crazy. That is crazy. You know what I'm talking about? People do it every day, all day, though. You know what I'm saying? See, we're not talking about responsibilities, man. You know what I'm saying? Or duty, because that's different from expectations. Responsibility and duty is different from expectations. Expectations is, I expect this from this individual. Not, okay, this is your function. These are the responsibilities and duties of that function. That's fair. That's fair. That's nothing to be upset about. That's not an expectation. That's reasonable. But, you know, hey, you got some people who, like I seen my dog say, because I ain't never thought like this. So, you know what I'm saying? I be seeing people online say they think like this. I ain't never think like this. Dude say, yeah, I seen my mama do everything, so I just felt like that's what a woman was supposed to do. I was like, well, then niggas really think like that. I ain't never had no thought. Some stuff I just don't even think about. Like when I seen light-skinned people and people be like, their asses, they mixed. That never ran across my mind. I never seen somebody fair-skinned or light-skinned. I'm like, oh, I bet she got a white mama. But people think like that. I don't think nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like dudes say, what you think if a woman say she got 4 kids from 4 different dudes? She like to have sex. That's all I think. I don't think nothing about her character. I don't think nothing. I don't know this nigga. You know what I'm talking about? But you know, people do have presuppositions. You be thinking stuff about stuff when you hear it. I mean, it's fair if you do that. You know, I ain't saying it's wrong. It's just I just might be different. I don't be thinking nothing. You know what I'm saying? Other than simple stuff like, man, 4 kids and 4 different niggas. She like it raw. That's it. That's all I got. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't mainly because I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think nothing because I don't know you. I'm not gonna make assumptions. You might have had 4 kids and been married and your husband died. You know what I'm saying? You might have had 4 kids and got a divorce. I don't know. I really don't care. Because you know what I'm saying? When I say I don't care, not that I'm not concerned with you, it ain't my business. I'm not invested. People be invested. But I remember how it just made me think about a conversation I had with somebody when I was younger. And they used to tell me that people would always ask her what she was mixed with. And I was like, I ain't never think about it. You know what I'm saying? I thought you was red. And that was it. You know what I'm saying? Muffin light skin. I know her parents, obviously. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't never think, oh, she must have white in her. Both her parents dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? I don't think nothing. Maybe I'm just something wrong with me. Go ahead.
So, yea, and all that will live godly in the Mashiach Yahushua shall suffer persecution. He said, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived.
That's right.
But continue you in the things which you have learned and have been assured of, knowing of whom you have learned them, and that from a child you have known the Kadash scriptures.
That they're able to do what?
Make you wise on the salvation through faith, which is in the Mashiach Yahushua.
What up?
All scripture is given by inspiration of Elohim.
Indeed.
And is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of Elohim may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works.
Given what inspiration means, because we had this conversation, I think it was yesterday. And dog asked me, do you believe that the word is inspired? I say, why wouldn't I? You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, my dog gave a fair reason of why he does. He said he believes that, I think he said that the Torah and maybe the prophets are inspired. He was like, because there's certain things historically in the text that don't line up. You know what I'm saying? With history. You know what I'm saying? And I get that. And I'm like, then that's fair. You know what I'm saying? Not here to argue that. But I mean, outside of you talking about historical recordings, I ain't tripping on that. Because what I mean by that is when you look at Samuel, you look at Kings, you look at Chronicles, those are effectively historical recordings. You know what I'm saying? That's what they are. You know what I'm talking about? But when you sit and you look at certain things, because there's certain stuff in Daniel, they be like, okay, there's errors there. I mean, you're dealing with human beings. There can be errors there as far as recording is concerned. But fundamentally, at the base principles of things, yes, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't I think it's inspired? There's no reason for me not to. But for other people, it is. I say that because a lot of people who believe the word, when you hear things like that, it gets you angry. And you got, why you angry? Because another person don't believe that the word is inspired. Why does that anger you? You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna anger me. You know what I'm saying? What should anger you is niggas who say they in the word and they sleeping with men's wives. It's men who say they in the word and they beating their wife. It's men who say they in the word and they got idols in their heart and they show them that are thieves and spiteful and malicious. That should anger you more so than somebody saying, I don't believe the entirety of the word is inspired. Man, we had a conversation one day, man, these dudes were so mad because a dude said he didn't believe Abraham really existed. Why do you even care? Why are you so emotionally charged by that? Okay, he don't. What that got to do with me? But I know what that got to do with me. When I say me hypothetically, theoretically, that's a threat to individuals' faith because some people have those doubts too. And they don't like to hear people say stuff like that out loud. Because then they have to look inward within themselves. And they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? When you fully solidified in what you believe in, the thoughts, opinions, and words of others are basically inconsequential to you. Yeah, I hear you. You know what I'm saying? But what that got to do with me? Man, listen, man, I'm telling you, that's how you survive in prison. That's how you survive on these streets. That's how you survive in life. What does that have to do with me? You know what I'm saying? Now, that doesn't mean that you don't be concerned with the people around you. It means the first question you ask yourself, is this my business? For me to be emotionally, mentally, and intimately involved with this scenario in any capacity. Because if it ain't got nothing to do with me, why are you upset about it? Why are you moved emotionally about it? Because best believe if you're getting upset and angry about something, you're emotionally moved by that. And why is that the case? That's what you got to ask yourself. Why is another person's lack of belief offensive to you? What we asking?
Go Timothy.
Yep. I thought I called something out. Clearly I did not. Or I had it in my brain. What you just read?
2 Timothy, we read John 18.
No, I'm talking about it was something in my head. Read verse 16 again, man. Oh, inspiration. I need a definition of inspiration.
That was Theopneustos, that is inspired by Elohim.
Inspired by Elohim. Come over here to Job 31, I believe. Or is it 33? That's 33. Mm-hmm. Is it 33? Run 33 and 1. Let me find what verse I want, man. This is Job 33 and 1, everybody. Job 33 and 1.
Wherefore, Job, I pray you, hear my speeches and hearken to all my words. Behold, now I have opened my mouth, my tongue has spoken in my mouth. My words shall be of the uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. The rock of Elohim have made me, and the breath of the Almighty have given me life.
The breath of Almighty give me what?
Life.
So if it doesn't inspire you, how could one be conformed to his image essence? I'll rate it along the way. It would spark you. Indeed, it's Job 32 I need, man. You can start at verse 1. I would say, man, like I was telling my dog when we were talking about this here yesterday, man, like this is a theological space conversation. What they were talking about was they was like, hearing about people say, Jesus is God. I was like, I never heard that before in my life. Instead, I started doing. He was like, I'm like, no, I didn't go to church. Nigga, I was around drug dealers, killers, robbers, thieves, prostitutes. You know what I'm saying? Whores, regular working people. Like, these aren't conversations that's being had. Ain't nobody sitting around talking about no Trinity and no modalism and none of this type of stuff. Man, I ain't never had them type of conversations. And if somebody was talking about something quote unquote religious, they ain't talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would have to be around Christian people to hear that. And I wasn't around no Christian people. So, no. You know what I'm talking about? So, As I've done told y'all plenty of times before, you know, when you in a theological space, theological conversations are going to be drastically different than real world conversations. You know what I'm saying? And what I mentioned is like when you're having a real world conversation about the word, you're not really going to be getting into the depths of those type of things because in general, the audience who you talking to is going to be very unconcerned with that. They're going to be more concerned with things that relate directly to their life. Meaning, if it's some type of comfort, mercy, compassion, love of God, where the manifestation of his salvation is concerned, that's what they're going to be concerned with. More so than the technical aspects of certain things. Like they're just not going to care. You know what I'm saying? Theological spaces is different. You care about those. Theological spaces care more about procedural and doctrinal type of things. The real world care more about salvational type of things. You know what I'm saying? Strengthening type of things, comforting and loving type of things. And because a lot of brothers don't know how to balance the two, to know how to communicate in both of them, that's why they have a hard time doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because people who focus on the salvational turn, they're not going to mesh well in a theological space because they can't really cut that off. You know what I'm saying? If that's what they do and that's what they know, they don't know how to cut that off. So when they come in this side, that's how they're approaching it, and that's why people on the theological side or / scholarly side kind of mocked it. You know what I'm saying? But consequently, the scholarly theological side, when they come in the real world side, they don't know how to relate or communicate to these people either. And then they're ineffective at the communicating of their message. And then they believe, oh, these people don't really want to know God. They unlearned this, that, they're in the third, because a lot of them may have an elitist attitude and not even know that they have an elitist attitude. Now, when you take individuals as the example of the text with Yahuah and say with Paul, they knew how to balance in between the two. They knew how to sit back by the Ruach HaElohim, and I'm going to be able to battle with y'all on this theological side to show proof that you hypocrites and you foul. But I also know how to relate to these people to minister the word that they might be saying. And that's a gift from God. Everybody don't have that ability. That's not an ability per se that you foster out of your own intellect, godliness, or superior functioning. That's just the operation of the Spirit of God that exists within you to give you the ability to balance in between the two. You know what I'm saying? And the truth be told is everybody ain't supposed to balance in between the two. Because honestly, the real world application is greater. The coming at the people on the theological side usually is coming from because those people are coming at you. Because they're more concerned with that audience not listening to them because of you. You feel what I'm saying? It's a cold game. It's a cold game. Job 32:1.
So these three men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite of the kindred of Ram against Job was his wrath kindled because he justified himself rather than Elohim.
He did what?
He justified himself rather than Elohim.
Go on, tell him what justified mean, man. You can read righteous in their own eyes by definition if you want to. A lot of people go back and forth, but at the end of the day, and we could do, you know what I'm saying? We didn't talk about it before, though. When you look at the juxtaposition of the sufferings of Yahuah and the juxtaposition with Job, when you look at Job ran down the reasons like I've done this and I've done that and I've done this and I've done that. This shouldn't be happening to me. And like I said, right, matter of fact, since I mentioned it, just read Job 31:1 and look at what he say. Job 31:1.
I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid?
See, he said I made a covenant with my what?
With my eyes.
Give him eyes, man. Tell him what ayin mean, man.
That is the eye. This is physical or showing mental qualities or mental and spiritual faculties.
So what y'all think this mean when he said I made a covenant with my eyes? Why should I think upon a maid? Tell him what maid is there, man. It's two different words for maid. Let's see which one you here, man.
This is Bethulah, a virgin.
A virgin. Now we were talking about he said, if I made a covenant with my eyes, why should I think upon a maid? Tell him what think mean, man.
That is beneath to discern, understand, consider.
Why should I consider a maid? What y'all believe he's saying? I made a covenant with my eyes. Why should I consider a virgin? See, that's going to kind of go back to what we were talking about in 1 Corinthians 7. What you think he mean by that? I made a covenant with my eyes. Why should I think about a virgin? How you make a covenant with your eyes, man? Let me help you out. Job 42, man. Read me verse 4, man. You say to see purity, that's fair.
Here I beseech you, and I will speak. I will demand of you and declare you unto me. I have heard of you by the hearing of the ear.
But now,
my eyes see you.
So now, if he's made a covenant with him with his eyes, he made the covenant by the hearing of the word. You say John 20 and 29. Read me John 20 and 25. And go down to 29, man, and just let me know when you get to 29. I might know it when I hear it, though.
The other disciples therefore said unto him, We have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, Except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, thrust my hand into his side, I will not believe.
Go ahead.
After 8 days again, his disciples were within, and Thomas with them. Then came Yahuah, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, Shalom unto you. Then said he to Thomas, Reach here your finger, and behold my hand.
My hand.
Reach here your hand, and thrust it into my side.
My
and
side.
Be not faithless, but believing.
Be believing.
And Thomas answered and said unto him,
What he
Lord
said?
and my Elohim. And this is verse 29. Yahuah said unto him, Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Bruised are they that have not seen and yet have believed.
So if they hadn't seen but believed, how did they believe? Romans chapter 10 and verse 7.
Or who shall descend into the deep? That is to bring up Hamashiach again from the dead.
That's right.
But what saith it? The word is near you, even in your mouth.
And in your
heart
that you made.
That is the word of faith which we preach.
What else?
That if you shall confess with your mouth the Lord Yahuah,
and what else?
Shall believe in your heart that Elohim have raised him from the dead,
what else?
You shall be saved.
What else?
For with the heart man believe unto righteousness,
and
with the mouth confession is made unto salvation.
And what else?
For the scripture saith, Whosoever believe on him shall not be ashamed.
And what else?
But there's no difference between the Yahudim and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all.
What else he say?
For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved.
And
how then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed?
And
how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard?
And
how shall they hear without a preacher?
What else?
And how shall they preach except they be sent?
And what else?
As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of shalom and bring glad tidings of good things.
And what else?
But they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah saith, Lord, who have believed our report.
And what else?
So then faith come by hearing,
and hearing
by the word of Elohim.
So boom, that's how he made a covenant with his eyes. So he said, if I've heard the word and made a covenant with my eyes by my spiritual faculties, because I heard the word and now my eyes see, why would I consider a maid? Why is he saying, why would he consider a virgin? Let's return back to 1 Corinthians 7 and 33 and read that, because we talked about it Wednesday. Praise be to Yahuah. You know, it swing back in a different fashion. Run it. 1 Corinthians 7 and 33.
But he that is married care for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife.
Go ahead.
There is difference also between a wife and a virgin.
What else?
The unmarried woman care for the things of the Lord,
what
that
else?
she may be Kadash both in body and in Ruach.
And what else?
But she that is married care for the things of the world, and how she may please her husband.
Come on.
This I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that you may attend upon the Lord without distraction.
Without distraction.
But if any man think that he behaved himself uncomely toward his virgin,
let him what?
If she pass the flower of her age and need so required, let him do what he will.
Now, who remembers what it means to pass the flower of her age? Who remember what that means? Go ahead and finish it.
He said, he sinned not, let them marry.
What else?
Nevertheless, he that stands steadfast in his heart, having no necessity.
Having no what?
Having no necessity.
Having no what?
No necessity.
What else?
That power over his own will.
Over his own what?
Over his own will.
What he should do?
And have so decreed in his heart that he will keep his virgin do well.
Keep his who?
Keep his virgin do well.
Tell him what no necessity means. And after that, read Matthew 19 and 12 on the strength. Go ahead. What necessity mean, man?
That is. Ananke, that is necessity, imposed either by the circumstances or by law of duty regarding to one's advantage, custom, or argument. You got calamity, distress, or straits.
Give me Matthew 19, man. Give me verse 10. Who remembers what it means if she passed a flower of her age? What does that mean? We just talked about it 2 days ago. Come on, Zibo.
His disciples saying unto him, if the case of the man be so with his wife, it is not good to marry.
Listen.
But he said unto them, all men cannot receive this saying.
What that saying is?
They to whom it is given.
What that saying is?
There are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's womb.
And what else?
There are some eunuchs which are made eunuchs of men.
And there are some.
And there be eunuchs which have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of Shamahim's sake. He that is able to receive it,
let him receive it, man. Let him receive it, man. So listen, nobody ain't told me yet what that mean, Pastor. Age to marry, she's an adult, she's mature. So when you see him say, hey, I made a covenant with my eyes, why should I think upon a maid? Well, there it is. Now we can get a little derivation, if you would, a little understanding from what Paul writing in this epistle letter when he say that if a man don't have no necessity of touching his maid, he say, I've made a covenant with you with my eyes. Why am I thinking upon a virgin? What I'm considering that for. And then, of course, you see what the Lord said in that regard. Now, again, that's not something everybody can do. And that's okay. Let's return to Job 31 and 2. What we're focusing on is what we read in Job 31, just as we read them say that in 2 different spaces in 32, is what's in Romans 4. Matter of fact, give Romans 4 just on general principles. So we ain't got to come back and do it later. That way, when we get Job, we can slide. Romans 4 and 1, if you would, sir.
What shall we say then that Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, hath found? For if Abraham were justified by works, he have whereof to esteem.
If he be justified by works, he have what?
Whereof to esteem, but not before Elohim.
But not before who?
Elohim.
Oh.
But what saith the scripture?
What it say?
Him believed Elohim, and it was counted unto him for righteousness.
What up?
Now to him that work is a reward not reckoned of grace.
It's not reckoned of grace, but of what?
But of debt.
You owe me. Go ahead.
But to him that work not, but believe on him to justify the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness.
Righteousness. And again, this is our delineation between Genesis 15 and 6 righteousness and Deuteronomy 6 and 25 righteousness. Go ahead, man.
So even as David also described the blessedness of the man unto whom Elohim impute righteousness without works, same Baruch are they whose iniquities are forgiven, whose sins are covered.
That's right.
Baruch is the man to whom the Lord will not impute sin.
That's right.
Come this blessedness then upon a circumcision only, or
that's
upon
good.
The uncircumcision?
We're good on that. So again, you can read verse 1 again. So we got a strong idea. Praise be to Yahuah. What he means when he said, I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid? Why should I do that? Read it, Sibu.
I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid? But what portion of Elohim is there from above? And what inheritance of the Almighty from on high? Is not destruction to the wicked and a strange punishment to the workers of iniquity?
Go ahead.
Do not he see my ways and count all my steps?
Does he not what?
See my ways and count all my steps.
And if I have walked with what?
Vanity.
Or my foot hastened to what?
Deceit.
Let me be what?
Weighed in even balance, that Elohim may know my integrity.
Tell it what integrity is, man.
It is to my integrity or innocence.
Now, why would he be innocent? He's saying, I ain't sin. Continue. If my step
have turned out of the way,
and my heart
walk after my eyes,
and if any blot
have cleaved to my hand.
Now let's pause. Let's go back to Numbers 15 and 35 or 37. Because my man's made a post about this here about dudes sitting with their fringes on. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not an advocate for wearing fringes, nor am I a detractor for those who do. That's your business. If you need to look down at a piece of cloth at the bottom of your shirt to remember not to go after your own heart, then hey, do what works for you. Do you know what I'm talking about? But we dealing with, I can't recall what it say in Hebrews 9 verbatim at this time. My mind went blank. But the time there it is, the time of reformation has come. Well, those cardinal ordinances that were imposed on us before that time, yeah, we don't need all that. But if that's what you do, that's what you do. Like I was telling my dog, man, I done told y'all that plenty of times, because really it be coming from telling them that. And that's why I be reiterating it to y'all. Man, you can't be, hey man, if that's what you do, bro, that's what you do. You can't be caught up and be getting angry, upset, and belligerent, and this, that, there, and the third, because people don't believe or see or hold the same perspective of you of the text. That's crazy. And truth be told, it's extremely counterproductive. Because if you believe that you have the correct way, or the correct interpretation or perspective, or whatever the case may be, and if you recall what Peter told for the women to do, if her husband was an unbeliever, which was to win him over with her godly conduct. So if you wanted to win these people over, it should be with your godly conduct. Being contentious and strife-filled and belligerent and disrespectful and rude and cantankerous, that ain't the way to do it. And if you feel like you justified in behaving that way, then behave that way. You just got to learn to stop giving a damn. You know what I'm talking about? About things that you cannot control, things that you can't dictate, and things that ain't got nothing to do with you, and being angry because somebody don't believe or see things the same as you. And I told him, bro, I'll listen to your point of view because I'm interested in hearing your perspective of how you arrived there. I don't have to agree with it. And just because I don't agree with it, don't mean that we have to have an adversarial interaction because of it. Because unless you talking about sleeping with young girls or doing something crazy, then all right, cuz. It ain't that serious. It's not. And I don't understand how the big grown, so-called mature people get so angry and upset about things of this nature. Now, I know sometimes it don't be the doctrine, it be the stupidity of the individuals you're talking to. But if you've already identified them as stupid, then you would have to be stupid for allowing them to cause you to respond to their stupidity in a certain type of way. Now, there's also a caveat to that. If you know that you have a low tolerance for stupidity, then it would be best for you to cease and desist from engaging with stupid people once you've identified that they're stupid. Because I know some people have a low tolerance for certain things. I know some people have a low tolerance for people that you believe are being intentionally deceptive. That's when you just cease and desist. You just got to stop. Okay, I ain't talking to you no more. Because I know I'm going to go somewhere that I shouldn't be going. So I'm just going to leave. You know what I'm talking about? But come on, man. Where you at with it?
Numbers 15 and 37.
Come on, Numbers 15, 37.
And Yahuah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharal, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout the generations.
All right.
That they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
What else?
And it shall be unto you for a fringe.
A fringe.
That you may look upon it. For all the commandments of Yahuah.
And what else?
And do them. And that you may seek not after your own heart.
Not after your own what?
Your own heart and your own eyes. After that, after which you use to go a whoring, that you may remember and do all my commandments and be Kadash unto your Elohim.
Good. So come back. So you notice in Job 31, he said, if I walked, my heart walked after my own eyes. 1 John 2 and 16 on general principle. Because that's what ends up happening a lot of times is your heart is walking after its own vision, its own faculties, its own desires. That's part of what Ezekiel talking about by having an idol in your heart. See, but if you made a covenant with your eyes, then you wouldn't consider a maid, meaning that your lust would be in check. You can make it verse 15. 1 John 2 and 15.
Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Abba is not in him.
It ain't in it.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Abba, but of the world.
The lust of the what?
The lust of the eyes.
And the lust of the who?
And the pride of life, not of the Abba.
You skipped one.
Or the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life.
Go ahead.
It's not of the Abba, but it's of the world.
What else?
And the world pass away, and the lust thereof.
That's right.
But he that do the will of Elohim abide forever.
He said the lust do what?
Pass away.
So listen, right? He just said, if my heart walked after my own eyes, and if I have any blot, have cleaved to my hands. So this the part of, you ain't got to look down at no friends and no man. If you go after your own heart, you're going to pass away. Read it Matthew 5 and 29. You ain't got to do that. Not if you have, now we know Yahuah came and giving you an understanding, made things plain. Again, this is not to detract from individuals who wear fringes. Is it not okay to have desires? Yeah, it depends on what it is. Yeah, we talked about that a long time ago, Misha. I know I kind of read it. It's like 3 different words for lust in Hebrew. And lust in and of itself is not bad. It's what you lusting after. So when he tell you the lust of the eyes, like I said, if you're looking at, I've made a covenant with my eyes, usually the desires of your eyes are not according to the desires of God. Matter of fact, since I said that, before you read Matthew 5:29, because you already know that.
And if your right eye offends you, pluck it out, cast it from you. For it is profitable for you that one of your members should perish, and not that your whole body should be cast into hell.
Now, this ain't telling you necessarily go pluck your eyeball out. There was a rapper who did that some years back from Texas to get out his record deal. But go to Genesis 3 and 5. This is what they look at, right? Because you have certain things that are forbidden from you. You know what I'm saying? Because truth be told, lust will get you in trouble. Because 99.9% of the time, the things that we desire are not necessarily congruent and in line with Yahuah's desire, which is why he said you got to serve him with a ready heart and a willing mind. You have to take pleasure in what he take pleasure in. Or like he said in Jeremiah, righteousness, loving kindness, and judgment, these are the things that I kafats or delight or take pleasure in. So if that's what he take pleasure in, and that's your desire, it'll become his desire, it'll become your desire. Or like what he told Cain, if you do well, shall you not be accepted? But if not, sin lie at the door, and your desire be to that. And we can read the word for desire in that passage right there. So it just all depends, because that's why I was mentioning y'all about certain things you got to have proper perspective. This is why I say, hey, what good is it if a man gain the whole world and lose his soul? Because you could have a desire for a lot of things, and it could take you off the path. And you ain't gonna realize you off the path until you off it. That's why he told you, hey, don't desire, when he say, hey, money is the root, the love of money, is the root of all evil. He say, but oh, man of God, flee these things and pursue this. Because he said, hey, you could get these riches, but these riches is going to drown you in perdition and many hurtful lusts, which you ain't gonna know. Listen, man, we've been talking about this right there, because niggas hustling, you see some things because you're starting to get some money. And I told you, money don't change you. It just reveals more of who you really are. Because a lot of people have a lot of desires. You just don't know you had a desire because you broke. You know what I'm talking about? But let you have some money, and as they like to say, the world is now your oyster. Now you have the capability and ability to do, because everybody be screaming, I can't see how many people go broke, this, that, there, and the third. Of course you can't see it because you ain't got it. You don't know what it's like to walk in a room and everybody capitulate to your demands. Everybody is ready, willing, and able to give you every single solitary thing that you could imagine. Whatever desire that you have in your life, you can reach it. Most of us, that ain't never been your life. So you wouldn't know what you would do. This is why Paul, and we can read it, that's why he made that statement. You got to be careful. You get in that, listen, man, I told you before, right? And I hate to use this example, but it's just what it is. Matter of fact, I could use both. You got a lot of dudes who be like, I wasn't no hoe. You wasn't no hoe because you couldn't get no hoes. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because you see a lot of these quote unquote red pill dudes and all this here. Now you getting some money. Now you got access to women you couldn't get before. And now you wondering why these dudes trying to smash everything moving, because now he has the opportunity to do so. Of course, he virtue signaled like he wouldn't do that because he couldn't. He couldn't do it. Now he can. On the reverse of the more despicable side, it's a lot of dudes out here who are homosexual. They just never had the opportunity to move on that desire. And I've seen that being incarcerated. You don't get somewhere and become a different person than who you were before you got there. I don't care what nobody say. You know what I'm talking about? That's who you were before you got there. Now you just have the opportunity to act on a desire that you didn't have opportunity for. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got a man and he can be like, he can turn down women when he had no money, he can turn down women when he gets some money. Because he was already on that. But if you got a dude be like, man, these women, he couldn't get no women. That's why you see dudes you always hear people say, oh, he messing with a woman who wouldn't look his way when he was broke. Because now he has access to this, And that lust gonna destroy them. And what you end up seeing happen to these dudes, they have turned from these women, they get exorbitant amounts of child support, they get married to these women, get divorced by these women, and lose a significant amount of their assets. Why? Because of lust. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what you desire. You have a lot of people who desire to do a lot of things, and by the time they get to the end of it, they lose everybody. They drug addicts, they alcoholics. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, this is not 100%. This is just in general. This is what happened, you know what I'm saying? Lust get you out of pocket. Come on, man, we get to the point. Where you at right now?
Genesis 3 and 5.
Go ahead and run. After that, 1 Timothy 6 and 9.
For Elohim, you know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open. You shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat.
See, she had a desire for this tree, but guess what? This was a wrong desire because this was a desire that was forbidden. But it looked good to me. It's just like what Paul said in Romans 7, sin deceived me. And then when it was conceived, what it did, it killed me. You know what I'm saying? As 8-Ball said on the record, man, temptation coming, but I'm much too slow to get away. You know what I'm talking about? Because you blind, temptation killing you. You don't realize it's killing you till that pistol in your face. Now it's too late. You remember how Minister Society ended? My granddaddy asked me, did I want to live or die? He said, now I want to live, but now it's too late. Yeah, man, that's how I go down. 1 Timothy 6 and 9. So you have to be careful, man. Because I say, man, and I've seen that in the street, boy, money does not change you. It just makes you more who you are. But I say when you broke, you don't really, and when I say this here, man, let me clarify this here. And you don't know who you are. Oh, yeah, when you get some money, you find out you're not who you thought you were. Now, it's different if you broke and you know who you are, meaning that you actually, to whatever how you was raised or processes that you know completely and fully, your values, your principles, the honor, and the code that you live by as a man. But before you get some money, that's who you're going to be when you get some money. You know what I'm talking about? But if you don't know who you are before you get some money, you're going to find out really who you are when you get it, because you don't have no principles, you don't have no value, you don't have no honor, you don't have none of these things, man, you finna go buck wild. Because now you got access. A lot of celebrities you hear about who become drug addicts, they become drug addicts because they might have been smoking a little weed, but now you got money, now you got access, because money opened doors to get you in rooms and around people who you normally wouldn't be around. You know, in certain cities, man, there's certain clubs and speakeasies that people don't even know exist because it's only for certain tax brackets that you just can't randomly walk in there. Because it's invite only. You got to know somebody who knows somebody based on what you got and who you know to get in there. You just can't walk in there and be like, let me get a whiskey double. You can't come in. You don't even know it's there. Man, I done seen videos, man, about certain speakeasies and lounges in DC and New York City that people walk over don't even know exist. People in there having a good old time, doing God knows what in that hole. 1 Timothy 6 and 9.
Except that they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and it's many foolish and hurtful lusts.
What? A snare and many foolish and hurtful lusts. But what he told you to go after, old man.
And destruction, for the love of money is the root of all evil. While some coveted after, they have erred from the faith.
Erred from the faith.
Pierced themselves through with many sorrows.
Many sorrows.
But you, O man of Elohim, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. Fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold on eternal life.
Now, to read that there, what he say to pursue, and this is where the Lord will come in at. This is just for clarity, right? When the Lord told you seek the kingdom of Elohim and his righteousness and all, whatever it is, if it's not something that's a desire that's against his word, if you seek in his kingdom and if it be his will, he'll add that desire unto you. But he's telling you what to go after, because it depends on what we desire. Because he said, hey, now he mentioned money here specifically, but it ain't just got to be money. It can be a multitude of different things that we desire that'll cause us to err from the faith, because you're going after the wrong thing. You concerned about the wrong thing. Or as he said, where your treasure is, your heart will be also. Treasure don't got to be money. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be money. It's just mentioning money here specifically. You know what I'm talking about? So you have to pay attention to that. Go ahead.
He said, but you, O men of Elohim, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith.
Notice he said righteousness, godliness, faith, and what else?
Love, patience, and meekness.
He said that's what you need to desire to lay hold on. You know what I'm saying? We don't necessarily desire to lay hold on to these things. And it's understandable because at the end of the day, especially when people be at a certain age when they get in the word, it's certain things you want to do. Or you may envision yourself to do. And then you get in the word, especially if you look at things from a Christian paradigm in general, because the Western Christian paradigm, I should say, this is not singling out the church, but the institution as a whole. It's concretely whether it's white Christianity or black Christianity, because everybody know that white and black churches are drastically different as far as how they services are conducted, and in general how the message is imparted. But the general consensus on both sides of that aisle is that you can have all your desires in the world and serve God too. You know what I'm saying? But when you get in the words, you find out that's not the case. That's not the words that the Lord said out of his mouth. You know what I'm talking about? And that's very disturbing and troubling for people, because the message is he wants you to have abundance and this, that, there, and the third. And we only take those things to be natural things because that is what these people are communicating to us. You know what I'm saying? And if you say anything different than that, then they're saying, okay, you're advocating for poverty and for suffering. Nobody's advocating for that. What they're advocating for is that you have a mind that's fit for God and a heart that desires to fulfill his will. And when you seek to chase after the things that he deems important, that's going to be more beneficial to you than to go after the things that you want. You know what I'm saying? Because the things that you want, aka the things that you desire, may not be congruent with his will and you being perfected in it. You know what I'm saying? And usually we won't find that out until we get to the latter end, and then it's too late. So it's something that's why I always mention about having proper perspective, because we have to sit down and weigh that out. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say we got to sit down and count the cost, whether we got sufficient to pay. Because he said a man got to be willing to forsake all that he have. He said if we're not willing to do that, we can't be his disciple. And people don't be wanting to hear that, because you got to forsake your desires too. Which is what Galatians tell us, amen. Those that are Mashiachs have crucified their affections and lusts. So our personal desires have been put to death in order to fulfill God's desires, which takes us back to the poignant words that Yahushua HaMashiach said out of his mouth, which is, not my will be done, but your will be done. And that's the mindset that we have to have when it comes down to our desires. It's me fulfilling my desires, making sure that his will is done. Because the objective should not be your will be done, but his will be done. And I don't think that's effectively communicated in general, irregardless of denominational affiliation. And when I say that, whether Christian or Hebrew, no matter what form of doctrine that individuals espouse, I don't think individuals are really told like, hey, boy, you got to sit down whether you got sufficient to pay, my G, and what you willing to give up. Because he gave up his life. Say the ransom of a man's life is his riches. He gave up his life for you to be able to have life. So you have to ask yourself, are my desires more important than living? And that's only a question that each individual man and woman can answer. You know what I'm saying? That's right, little Johnny. That's what he said. Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. For the Ruach is willing and the flesh is weak. And the question that I just posed, I can't answer that for you. Only you can answer that for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because all these things in this life is temporary. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why he say, hey, man, what does a man gain or advance or prosper if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? And you lose your life. Was those desires worth it? But what we try to convince ourselves is I can have it all. Well, you can't have it all, man. Ain't nobody in this life ever had it all. You get 3 things, you're going to have to give up 1. That's with anything, period, man. Like when we were talking about, what's the balance? man, some stuff ain't no balance, man. Something's going to be sacrificed. You're going to have to give something up. That's that junk you see on TV. These people not giving you the totality of their life. Man, listen, man. You got people who extremely successful. Okay, I just was looking at it. Okay, y'all don't know who this baseball player is. His name Chris Bryant. Played third base for the Cubs. They was talking about his pops. His pops owned some type of business, but he was never home. You know what I'm saying? Pops was a former minor league player, flamed out. Chase two rabbits, you get neither. I think say Tom Brady won another season, lost his wife. I think his wife was lost before he played that season. I think he just didn't care. You know what I'm talking about? I think he was probably ready for her to go. But, that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? He was probably sat around the house. Oh, no, I know I can't do this. I don't like this other. You know what I'm saying? And never left. And he probably knew she was getting piped down by that dude anyway. But he sold I guess his business was highly successful, but he wasn't never there for his son. So he said he sold his business and took a job somewhere making exponentially less money, but he had more schedule flexibility to be able to train his son to be the baseball player that his son was obsessed with being. And see, you'll hear that and be like, well, he got to spend time with his son, but he sacrificed income. Now, I'm not saying that he's wrong for sacrificing income. I'm just pointing out the fact that he didn't have it all. He had something. He gained one thing, but he lost another. You know what I'm saying? Because he got the time with his son, but you ain't got the bread like that no more either. You know what I'm talking about? Because people think you can have, no, you can't have both. It's not possible. If you want one thing, you're going to have to trade in the other. Guess what? You got to trade in the car. You don't get to keep your old car, do you? So you got to give them that car. And they're going to give you another car. You don't get to keep both. And be like, I got it all. I got both cars. No, that's not how that works. And people don't realize that, man. There's a trade-off. There's a trade-off. Like here, man, you want somebody to make a whole lot of money, they ain't going to be able to give you a whole lot of time. Somebody give you a whole lot of time, they ain't going to be making a whole lot of money. You know what I'm saying? That's just how that goes. You know what I'm saying? You want a whole bunch of children? Hey, man, your old lady probably not going to look like how she looked when you met her. That's just what it is. You got dudes put 4-5 children in a woman, then be mad because she gained some weight. Nigga, is you serious? I told you somebody I grew up with, the nigga asked me that. Like, it was probably about 15 years ago. She was like, do I look the same? I'd be like, cuz you done had 5 kids, cuz. Why would I expect you to look like how you looked in 1997 after 5 children? That's crazy. But I understood this nigga insecure. She feeling bad about herself. She wants somebody to tell you look good. Hey, man, whether I tell you look good or not, baby, do you believe you look good? Because if you give somebody that power to be able to do that for you, you already got issues, man, that, shoot, I can't help you with. Peace, Brother Joseph, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about that as I'm talking about that because I remember that junk because I ain't even know how to answer that. Like, nigga, why'd you ask me this? What you want me to tell you? You know you don't look the same. You know what I'm talking about? We were talking about the day this dude was going in, talking about there was nobody in the Bible who was fat. I said, bro, we can't validate that. You know what I'm saying? I can't validate it or disprove it. You know what I'm talking about? But I was like, they probably weren't fat like that because they ain't live how we live. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of us fat in America because you ain't eating real foods. You don't do nothing. When I say you don't do nothing, not in a negative way, like a lot of people work sedentary jobs and then you ride in your car to get to work. You ride in your car to get home. You get home, you don't want to do nothing. You ain't move around all day. And then we overeat and they give it massively in large portions of food that are completely unnecessary. And we live in a country where people don't eat when they're hungry. They eat just to eat. You know what I'm saying? And think that junk cool. I'm a foodie. No, nigga, you finna be morbidly obese. Nigga, your heart finna be clogged. Your liver finna fail. Your kidneys gonna go out. Your pancreas is screaming for help. You know what I'm saying? Because you wonder why niggas be dying around this whole, man. Man, that junk ain't no reason, man. No, listen, man. Because you can see videos of people who eat the same food in other countries that they eat here and lose weight. That should tell you something. Yeah. King Eglon is they mentioned, bro. He was the only one that mentions that they were fat. Were there people fat back then? I wager. Then of course, there's certain things that are not taken into account. They don't take into account muscle and all this other type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But hey, man, got to be careful with your desires, man. Your desires can take you out. You can read in Matthew 5:44 on the house. So we end with that. Come back to Job. It is what it is, man. Go ahead.
He said, but I say unto you, love your enemies, baruch them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be the children of Yahuah, which is in Shamaim. For he make his own sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and send rain on the just and on the unjust.
That's right.
For if you love them which love you, what reward have you?
I got you reading the right thing, man. I don't. I definitely don't. Where's the verse at, man? I'm in the wrong spot. Because we should be in chapter 6. That's why. That's my bad. Matthew 6 and 30.
Wherefore, if Elohim so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith?
Oh, you of little faith.
Therefore, take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed?
That's right.
For after all these things that the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Abba know the things that you have need of all. For your heavenly Father know that you have need of all these things. But seek you first the kingdom of Elohim and his righteousness.
And his righteousness.
And all these things shall be added unto you.
That's the only thing that we can really look at that, Misha, man. Like I said, it depends on what you desiring. But yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. It's just keeping the proper perspective of things. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes we be wanting, like, it says don't desire this. Now, there's certain things that tell you not to desire. Don't desire your neighbor's wife. Don't desire your neighbor's ass, his cattle, or anything that's your neighbor, because that's coveting. That's wrong. That's why I say if you lust after a woman in your heart, you commit adultery, because it's referring to a woman who's already married. You know what I'm saying? Which is, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you won't hear people openly do this by regular people's wives, but like you see grown men lusting after celebrity women who they know married. Nigga, you weird. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, shoot, it's weird to be lusting after a celebrity woman if she ain't married. You know what I'm talking about? Like when people are like, who was your celebrity crush when you was young? None. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had no photograph of no woman on my wall, man, talking about, ooh, and nigga, that's crazy. Like, nigga, I ain't that goddamn horny. That's wild. You know what I'm talking about? But when you turn around and you look at it based off the place that we live in, you don't realize how young that they impress perversion on your brain. It's the same way when you hear people talking about you, man, you're not the man, you're not the woman of a man's dreams. And I'm like, I've never in my life dreamed of a woman. Meaning, I didn't formulate a fantasy version of a woman in my brain who don't exist and then go out in the world looking for this woman who don't exist. To me, that's a form of mental illness. Because that person, you made this person up in your brain. How is any human being on earth, how is any woman on earth going to measure up of a fantasy that you created in your mind? No, man, that's wild. You know what I'm talking about? But I just didn't think that way. Some people do, and that's their business. You know what I'm saying? Because some people are getting offended when I tell them, oh, so your wife's not the woman of your dreams. I never dreamed of a woman. My wife's my wife because she's my wife because I love her. Not because I dreamed of this individual in my brain and thinking, oh, you're the person who I dreamed of when I was 8. When I was 14. Nigga, that's crazy as hell. You know the thing we like to say, you know what we like to say, what that boy said, man, because we don't like to dream about getting paid. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you don't know that record, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. And come back to Job 31. When people hear that, and I think that's more so of the princess fantasy thing that you get from Disney. And then, people impart that on men. They're thinking, yeah, she's not the woman. You know what I'm saying? Like some people like, you got a type? No. Some dudes do though. Some dudes like, I want a woman with some big old titties. I don't care nothing about that. You know, because at the end of the day, titty sag. Does she have good character? You know, eventually, butts, you know what I'm saying? Butts get dimples in them. You know what I'm saying? You get old together. She had churn. She don't look the same. But who is she internally? What intangibles does she possess? That's all you care about? Then you mad because you getting drugged up and down the road because you had a fine scallywag? But you couldn't identify she was a scallywag because she was your physical type? Nigga, what's wrong with you? Yeah, you can avoid a lot of things. You don't be caught up on stuff like that, man. I told him when I was in prison, that's when my dog said, man, you don't understand, man. You ain't got no care. I understand, nigga. You impregnated a whore. And now you shocked that she's doing what whores do because you couldn't identify she was a whore before you ejaculated in her raw. And you want me to feel sorry for you because you suffering for impregnating a whore. And I don't feel sorry for you because you'd have done it. That nigga like, damn, you ain't have to say it like that, bro. But you know, that's the problem. Ain't nobody saying it like that to you. That's why you thought you were going to get some sympathy. Because you sitting here telling me about this woman. She don't sound like the type of woman that you should have impregnated. But you didn't care because she like that butt was looking good to you. You know what I'm talking about? And that taco felt good to you. So you disregarded all of that. That's your fault. Now she dragging you through the mud and you want me to, she don't let me see my kids. So whose fault is that? Maybe you should have had not impregnated and vindictive, malicious and spiteful heifer. No, but you didn't think about it till it's done. You know what I'm saying? And you know why you didn't think about it? Because you cared about a type or a fantasy you created in your brain instead of this woman's character. You know what I'm talking about? Notice I didn't say her personality. I said her character. You didn't care about her character. That's how it happened to you. Go ahead, man. Job 31, verse 7.
Said, my step have turned out of the way, and my heart walked after my eyes. If any blot have cleaved to my hands, then let me sow.
Let another
eat.
Let my offspring
Be rooted
This
out.
is what's in them curses. You know that, right? That you would plant vineyards and other people would take the fruit thereof. You can read Deuteronomy 28. I ain't going through all that right now. That your offspring be killed. Come on with it. If my heart
have been deceived by a woman.
Hold on, listen what it said. If your heart been what?
Deceived by a woman.
Now I've asked all this question. How could a woman deceive your heart? Because he told you not to lust after a woman's beauty with your eyelids. You know what I'm talking about? Was going back to what I'm talking about. That's how your heart got deceived by a woman. Because what's your heart? That's your lab. Give him the definition of lab all the way through, man. Look at the Lord. Well, we got that far. He telling you what we just mentioned. See, some goofy right now, whether live or on a replay later, gonna be sitting there and thinking this by hating women. You need to get a therapist. What he's telling you is certain type of people, man, your heart will be deceived by them because you're going to let your desires and your lust take control of you, and this nigga going to take you up and through that. And then you're going to cry and try to play the victim. Man, nobody feels sorry for you, you nigga. What that nigga say, go cry me a river, man. Here's $5, man. Go tell it. He say, here's a quarter. Call somebody who cares. You know about that? That's for your time. Go ahead.
You got inner man, mind, will, heart, understanding, the inner part. The midst of things, you got the heart of man, the soul, mind, knowledge, reflection, memory, thinking, your inclination.
Your inclinations.
You got your conscience. You got your heart of moral character. You got the seat of appetites, the seat of emotions and passions.
Seat of emotions and appetites.
And you got a seat of courage.
You say probably charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears Yahuah shall be praised. But notice he said this. So he said, if a woman has deceived my appetites, if my seat of my emotions, if the seat of my appetites, if my inclinations have been deceived. So in the end of the day, it wasn't the woman necessarily per se that deceived you, though she played a part in it. It was your own desires that did it, which is what deceived Eve, which is part of the reason why 1 Timothy 5 and 6 say, she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she live. That ain't just for no woman blood. If you live for pleasure, you dead while you alive, because there's no life that can be derived out of pleasure. This is why I told you, like I said, I get it. You married. Well, I told you, man, your life more than having sex. I don't care if you married or not. If your mind is formulated about how much conjugals that you can participate in, man, that's going to take you off the beaten path. Unfortunately, you got people that say if a man wants too much sex, he must be gay. That's crazy. Now, at the same token, I do, based on the life experience, I don't think a lot of the ladies who say that understand that, but I seen that jump, bro. I'm like, bro, ain't no way in the world you in prison beating your meat like this, cuz. You know what I'm saying? And gonna, ain't no way, because you emboldened with too much desire. And I know, like, hey, with that much desire pent up in you, you wouldn't necessarily care where you released it at. That ain't what every dude, but it is a small contingent. Civic know what I'm talking about because he done seen it. Ain't that much freak in the world, cuz. You know what I'm talking about? When I say that, meaning ain't nobody got you. You don't want sex that much. But some dudes do. And they usually ain't doing too much either. You know what I'm saying? But come on, man. He said you gotta be careful. That's how that woman deceived you. Remember, he said, hey, sin conceived and it deceived me and then it slew me. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing as in Proverbs 7 when he said, I see the simple ones. Desire is what got that man that doggone dart in his kidneys. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, read that again for me, man. Verse 9, man.
He said, my heart have been deceived by a woman.
Or if I've laid at wait.
At my neighbor's
door.
So
if you laid in wait at your neighbor's door, man, you trying to kill him? What you trying to take his old lady to? My God.
And let my wife grind until
and let others what?
Bow down upon
For this is a what?
Heinous crime.
So you know what this crime he talking about? This man talking about committing adultery. Go ahead, man.
He said, yea, it is an iniquity to be punished by the judges.
For it is a
fire that consumed to destruction and would root out all my increases.
If I despise
the cause of my manservant
or of my maidservant, when they
contended with me,
what shall I do when
when
he visit?
What shall I answer him?
Did not he
that made me in the womb?
Did not one
fashion us in the womb?
If I withheld
or from their desire,
or have caused
the eyes of the widow to fail,
or have eaten
my morsel, myself alone,
and the fatherless
have not eaten thereof.
For from my youth
he was brought up with me as with a father,
and I've guided her
from my mother's womb.
If I've seen any perish
for want of clothing,
or any poor
without covering,
if his loins
have not broke me, if you were not warmed with the fleece of my sheep,
if I have not,
I've lifted up my hand against the fatherless when I saw my help in the gate,
then let my arm
fall from my shoulder blade and my arm be broken from the bone.
Now listen, you know what he expounded that goes to one of them epistle letters, what Paul said in 1 Corinthians 13, because he said, if I did all these things and have not love, I'm nothing. Now he's mentioning all of these things, because you would think, how is that not love if you're doing all that? Because you're doing all that because that's what he say you're supposed to do, but you may not be doing that because it's love in your heart to do it, because you move with mercy and compassion and care and comfort. Now he's enumerating these things out loud as if God owe him. You know what I'm talking about? Now go back to Job 32 because we ain't got to run it all down. Or we'll be here all day. Go back to verse 1, Job 32 and 1. Now we read Job 31 because of what we heard in verses 1 and 3 in Job 32.
So these three men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barakel, the Buzite of the kindred of Ram, against Job. Was his wrath kindled
because he what?
Justified himself rather than Allah.
Give him justified by definition. So in this instance, he made himself righteous versus God.
It is Sadat.
And y'all know that. That's righteousness. What does that mean? That's your Deuteronomy 6 and 25. That's why we read the Romans 4 first, because it won't be of grace, but of what? Dead. So therefore, you justifying yourself and not God. But if you believe in Yahuah and he counted it to you for righteousness, then you justifying God and not yourself. This is part of the reason that a lot of individuals don't like the quote unquote Berit Kadashah, the Basora, the New Testament, whatever you want to call it, because you have to justify God and not yourself. And individuals would rather justify themselves. Because in the Tanakh and the Torah, that's really the avenue. Not to say that the Tanakh and the Torah teach that, but this is what individuals derive from it and then seek to do for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Look at me. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't do this. I don't do that. Versus when an individual say, I don't do that because I love my God and I believe in his promises. See, some people hear that, right? Because especially when you talk to people about not sinning, they be like, see, it's not you that's doing it, it's God. No, it's got to be me. And when I say it's got to be me, meaning because I laid his word in my heart and because I love, fear, honor, and respect him, I make the decision to refrain from certain behaviors and conduct because it would dishonor him. And I would rather die than dishonor him. And that's hard for people to understand, because that's the Christian way. It's not you that's doing this, Jesus that's in you that's doing it. But as Paul put it, not that I live, but that he lived, but he lives because the word is in you. That's how he lived and work in you, because the word is in you, because you hold to the word. But at the end of the day, like I tell you, God ain't tempted with evil. You know what I'm saying? So when you get tempted with evil, that's you being tempted, and that's you to have to make the decision to refuse the evil, because you love God, because you fear God, because you trust God, because you believe in God based off what he promised you. You have to refuse that evil. He's not going to refuse it for you. Because as the word tell you, what it tell you, Civic? I said before you what?
Life and death.
Blessing and curses. What he told you to do? You better pick it. But guess what they don't do, Civic? They don't choose life. Missed that one. That's right. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. But I get it from their perspective when they say that. But you want to absolve yourself from the personal responsibility of, but you can't be out here whoring, bro. You can't be out here whoring, bro. You can't be out here doing X, Y, Z, man. Like I said, okay, you feel bad, you going through some things, going to indulge in your flesh ain't the answer. That's whether you in the word or not. Going to indulge into something to blunt, mask, all that there, man, that's just showing you don't have good coping skills. But a lot of people don't. That's why a lot of drug addicts and alcoholics are in the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying that like they're terrible people for it, because, hey, man, sometimes just be too heavy, man. I'm finna go smoke. I'm finna go snort. When I say smoke, I ain't talking about no weed either. I'm talking about everything nigga can smoke. So you got to get that community funded therapy. Hey, some people need it. I ain't against it. You know what I'm talking about? Because some people be going through some things, man, and they may not know how to deal with it. You know what I'm talking about? And shoot, they ain't got to be crazy stuff, man. Like it could be anything, man. Niggas die, lose your job. You know what I'm saying? You get behind on your bills, all that type of stuff. Everybody don't respond to that stuff the same way. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is people feel like some of that stuff shouldn't bother you. Some people that junk bother them. Some more than others. It's people who done been beat on, touched on, you know what I'm saying? Verbally eviscerated as a child. Man, they ain't got over that junk. Man, their minds ain't right. And people just think because you get in the word that instantaneously, that's going to cease. For some people it may. For most people it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what they seen, what they experienced, what they've been through. I don't have that expectation. You know what I'm saying? I never have, because I'm a human being. I know that just because you hear the word, that's just not good. That's going to erase 20 years of suffering you done had in your life. I know that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's an unreasonable expectation to put on somebody. But that's how people be feeling, though. You know what I'm saying? Then I seen a lady, like, people like, does your church have a singles ministry? Man, everybody doing all that. Do you have it? That's not, ain't nobody, amen. But I get that though. Because you know why? You know why churches will say, do you have a singles ministry? They'll say that because you have a bunch of grown people and it's not culturally how it would have been, where it had been a family thing. And your family would have dealt with that. So now you're looking for the church to replace your people. But people don't be realizing that's really what's going on. That's not to be negative towards the church, because a lot of the things you see, that's what it's doing is, okay, this going to replace your family structure versus, but it's difficult. It's like when my dog was asking about, okay, Israelites don't teach certain things. He was like, do you teach a man that you need to marry your brother's wife if he died? But I'm like, bro, you can't tangibly enact something like that in 2026, because it would take both brothers to be in the word and that woman to be in the word. So if, say, a man's brother died and him and his wife didn't have any children, but that woman ain't in the word, man, she not going along with that. You know what I'm talking about? But she's not going along because you coming up to her. Well, you know, our law says I got to marry you and raise up a seed to our brother. Man, woman, man, get out my face. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of we don't even sit there and consider that. Man, you can't bring that to somebody who's not involved with that. You got people who, okay, you want your, hey man, both of y'all, man and a woman in the word, neither one of y'all sets of y'all parents in the word. Man, them people don't care about none of that stuff y'all coming to talk to them about. When you talking about getting, people don't care about that. Because that's not their reality. They're not intermeshed in that. And that's why they come in and people look for, okay, the church gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Or the Hebrew assembly gonna do it. Because now you're looking for these. But I say, that's for young people. This be people be 30, 35, 40. Get the hell out of here. You know what I'm talking about? Man, if your big grown rusty behind don't know how, man, you don't need, just go get some help. That's all I can tell you. Come on, Silver. No, because that's how you don't be realizing, bro. The stuff I be hearing, bro, these don't be young people, bro. This be big, grown, rusty niggas, man. When we heard that dude talk about that woman talking about, bro, how I know she was pregnant. She had a big belly when I met her. Both these niggas in their 40s, bro. The people who was having this conversation, they was both in their 40s. You know you laid with this woman, got this woman pregnant, man. You know what you had going on. She got grown children. You got grown children. And this how you niggas acting, man. Y'all in y'all early to mid 40s. And you think I'm supposed to, man, I'm not facilitating that. Nigga, you good and grown. Now, listen, man, the issues that you can hear, man, but these do not be young people. Because it would be different if these was 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, 22-year-old people, man, going through some things, man. These niggas be grown, bro. Super grown. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I've been paying rent, light bill, car notes, got health. And, nigga, you don't get no grown than having health and life insurance. Well, car insurance, nigga, you got health and life insurance? Well, you good and grown. You clearly got to have some type of responsible bone in your body, nigga, or you be making a good money. Because shoot, if you ain't getting health insurance for your job, them people finna be hitting you with 18 inches of ungreased in your butthole. Because boy, that junk is ridiculous. I never knew how expensive that was, and until I started, I had to look for it for myself. I was like, God damn. I ain't talking about for one person. I'm talking about if you're trying to cover a few. Because when you're young, you ain't think about having no health insurance. Because you ain't think about going to the doctor. Not maybe because you think you're going to live forever, or you know, maybe it's just because you ain't thinking about it. Shoot, nigga, I'm 23. I ain't worried about getting sick. It's not till you get your wife and some children, you go thinking about, damn, this little nigga might break his arm. You know what I'm talking about? Getting there the third. I don't want him to hit me out of pocket. But usually you got a job, your job extended to you. But if you got to pay for it, shoot, man. You know what you got to do, Sid? You're going to have to hit the stove, get a beaker. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to have to start trapping. You know what I'm talking about? You'll be like, God damn, you all right? Amazon got you. You just say, J. Barry, you got the cover 4. Yeah, if you got to listen, man.
Amazon is too. You part-time, they don't even give it to you.
I bet they don't. Stinking bastards.
Yeah, that's like only for full-time employees now. They give dental insurance, but they're like, man, we ain't giving you no health insurance if you ain't full-time.
And they probably want to make sure everybody part-time, so they ain't got to give it. Pulling a Walmart. Boy, these people dirty, boy. Cracker got all that money, man. You can let a nigga get some health insurance, man. Well, you getting it hand over fist, man. You gonna make sure I only work 30 hours. So you ain't got to give me no health insurance.
They got full-time facilities now.
But they want to make sure you part-time worker. Full-time facilities with part-time workers. Ain't that about a slut? I ain't gonna lie. And I know East feel like that too. That's the stuff America need to be destroyed for. You know what I'm talking about? No, I ain't joking, man. That's the stuff America. All jokes aside, boy, that's the stuff America need to be destroyed for. Cause man, come on, man. Man, it's one thing. What you say? Walmart told my son to file for me. Yeah, they tell you that, man. They tell them people to get food stamps. You know what I'm saying? Man, Walmart was on the news for that junk for a long time, man. How hey man, they had the employees work a certain amount of hours and then, hey man, go get food stamps. Because you don't want to either pay them more or give them more hours. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of spots. See, it's different if you're dealing with small businesses because, you know, they the level of income that they making is not commensurate with a large corporate. That's how they do wrestlers, man. You know, like wrestlers are treated like employees, but they really 1099 contractors. So they got to pay for their own insurance. They got to pay for their own surgeries. You know what I'm talking about? Damn, that junk crazy as hell. And there's a lot of businesses in this country that's like that. That you're gonna want these people to come in and give high level of productivity and output to increase your bottom line, but then not extend to them certain benefits because you don't want to pay it because it'll make me cut your profits down by 3%. Use a whole lot, you. Cause boy, Amazon getting to the bread, man. That man could definitely make sure part-time for that every single solitary employee at Amazon across the United States of America should have full health care benefits, man. And that wouldn't affect your bottom line in the least bit. That's part of the reason why I don't shop with that crap. You know what I'm saying? Like straight them down. Man, if I get something off Amazon, man, it would have to be because it ain't nowhere else but with them. Boy, I don't fool with that cracker. I don't get that cracker no bread if I don't got to. I don't buy nothing from that cracker. Nothing. I'm talking about nothing. Absolutely nothing. He don't get a dime for me. Come on, Silver. Because I know how he kick a game. That's part of the reason why I don't like to go to Walmart neither. You know what I'm saying? Nigga go around there if you know what I'm saying, if you got to, or say it's like Molly, like, oh, I'm finna run to Walmart. But if you talking about purposely choosing Walmart myself, well, I'm not going in there. Yeah, I'm not going in there. It's got to be the last resort. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, I'm not going in there. I'm not going in there. I ain't going to Sam's Club. I don't want nothing to do with none of that. Because I know them crackers do they people dirty, man. And I just don't want nothing to do with it. I ain't saying you got to. I don't. Same way some niggas still boycott Target. They say Jamal Bryant said that the boycott with Target's over with. I ain't never stopped going. Because they ain't want none of my business. You know what I'm talking about? But as far as how Walmart do they employees, though, I don't respect it. Y'all getting all that bread and you tell a nigga file for Medicare and get food stamps? That's deplorable. Yeah, that's deplorable.
Especially the majority of the times, the healthcare plans be subsidized anyway.
Subsidized anyway. Y'all ain't even paying full price for the junk, man. Come on. Junk ain't right. That just tell you how they want a certain segment of the population to die. I hope you get sick and die.
They say you expendable.
Indeed. Would that be defrauded wages like the law? Now, defrauded wages in the law is simply that, because health benefits wouldn't be considered wages because it's benefits. They don't necessarily owe you that. You know what I'm saying? Tour-wise is concerned, because they didn't have nothing like that at that particular time. But the aspect of knowing that you could supply it, but you purposely keep your employees, because they're not defrauding them per se. They're just saying, I know that you got to work a certain amount of hours to get this. So I'm going to keep you here, because to defraud somebody is to willfully deceive them. You know what I'm talking about? And they're not deceiving nobody. They just outright telling you, I'm not doing this. You know what I'm talking about? So again, like I say, when you're looking at, it's just not a good, it's just not the right thing to do by a long shot. Go to 1 Samuel 12 real quick, Sibo. Verse 4. Let's see what the Hebrew word definition for defraud is. Matter of fact, make it verse 3. Yeah, it's just not a just thing to do. I'm talking about, even if I wasn't in the word, it's just not cool. You know what I'm saying? And while it's on my brain, before he read that, while it's a multitude of people on here before you slide up out of here, man, when we conclude, you know, on the first 3 days of unleavened bread, Lord willing, I may start a tad bit earlier or finish earlier. You know what I'm saying? because we'll have the capabilities and abilities for certain musical selections to be performed for your viewing and listening pleasures. You know what I'm saying? So what's going to end up occurring is I'll end that stream, and then we'll start another one for that. Well, that's going to be a standalone. You know what I'm saying? And some of the brothers in the churn going to do some performances, Lord willing, and then it's some other brews in the city, man, that I done hollered at. Lord willing, they be able to slide through, and they'll be on that also. So if the Lord permit, that's what we're going to do Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, because we'll have the capabilities to do so. You know what I'm saying? I asked those of y'all who wanted to perform, if you're going to perform for the reason of knowing, once I know the outside people on what days they going to be there, to be able to slot stuff, because it's not like it's going to be no set or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So whatever that you wanted to be able to perform, that you be able to do so at your leisure, not be like, oh, you got 30 minutes, because nigga, this not a concert. You know what I'm talking about? It's just general principle type of deal. You feel me? But you know the objective of what we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Because you know we know a few brothers and sisters in this city, man, and we'll have the space to be able to do it. You know, everybody gonna have their Passover observation, and we ain't trying to step on toes on that. But it's the aspect of, but yeah, we got this going on. We got the room, but y'all niggas can pull up, and we can sit in here, chop it up, not be like, oh, come keep Passover with us. No. That's what that is. You keep Passover where you're keeping it at, if that's what you want to do. You want to keep it over here? That's cool too. You know what I mean? But I've been mentioning that because the aspect of no matter where you at, no matter what city you in, man, because you can't necessarily try to cause a bridge with people who not in your city. What I mean by that is not people who not in your city, you already down with them. You can't galvanize and gather up people in another city because they'd have to travel. There's logistics involved, there's money involved. You know what I'm saying? That's just not feasible. But in your own city, though, that's feasible. You know what I'm saying? Because the only thing you can do is reach out. After that, you done did your part and it's over with. You know what I'm saying? Niggas need to tap in because ain't no telling how this junk gonna be out here, man. These crackers going to war. You know, most of y'all y'all done lived with a war your entire life. You know what I'm saying? They people been in a conflict somewhere at some point in time in your physical existence. Stuff get ugly during war. Prices go up. Things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It was already ugly out here before they went to doing all that. You know what I'm talking about? So ain't no telling how it's gonna be. So niggas need to be locked in, man, whatever the case may be. Everybody ain't gonna fool with you, you know, but hey, man, it is what it is. It's better to have, you know what I'm saying, a small team of real niggas than a quantity of FNs, if you would. You know what I'm saying? Use your imagination. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Said, behold, here I am, witness against me before Yahuah and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken, or whose ass have I taken, or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed, or of whose hand have I received any bribe to blind my eyes therewith, and I'll restore it to you.
Go on, tell them what oppressed means by that.
Oppresses, rasats, to crush, oppress.
So when you look at that defrauding, now if you look at it as forth as the strict definition of oppression, Omar, then you would definitely have to say that they would be oppressing them or crushing them. You know what I'm saying? Now, from that strict definition, yeah, it wouldn't be defrauding of their wages, but you definitely would be oppressing them. Because defrauded don't mean defrauded how we would look at defraud. Because let's look at the English definition of defraud. So we'll go to 1 Corinthians 7 real quick. Mm-hmm. And you can start at verse 1. I'm just reading where you say don't defraud your spouse, because that's what we want to get to. Now, if you look at English, defraud meaning to be illegally or dishonestly deprived of money, property, or rights through deceit, trickery, or artifice. It implies a deliberate, often criminal perversion of the truth to gain something. That's why I say they're not defrauding their employees. They just bust us. You know what I'm saying?
You want me to read, or you just want the definition?
You can read down till you get to the definition.
That's verse 5.
Oh no, they just give me the definition of defraud from birth. I'm gonna read on it.
That is apostereo, that is to defraud, rob, or despoil.
So, technically, unless them people tell you, like, you ain't owed health benefits. You know what I'm saying? Technically. Should they provide it to you? It would be nice. But the reality is, because, a lot of businesses don't offer it because they can't. But those are smaller businesses. You know what I'm saying? But if you're talking about a corporate conglomerate like Walmart or Amazon, it's just distasteful and despicable.
Even fast food, they all do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, at least a fast food restaurant, at least to give you partial. But see, a lot of them won't even tell you that. They'll make you want to dig through the handbook and find it. You know what I'm talking about? Because, shoot, they got mad at me when I was young working at KFC. Like, hey, man, y'all boys do tuition reimbursement, man. I need that. They were like, man, hey, nigga, it's in your handbook, cuz. It's in your handbook. What you mean you don't want to give it to me? It's in your handbook. I need that bread back.
I think that's what they be banking on, too, that people don't read them handbooks.
Yeah, they banking on you. That's why they hand it to you. Because they know you ain't going to read it. You know what I'm talking about? They know you ain't going to read it. Man, listen, man, most jobs you work at, man. See, the only people who really, really can't do that is small businesses, like people who, because they may not have the resources to do that, which is why a lot of them give people 1099s versus you being W-2 employees, because they got to provide for that. You know what I'm talking about? But, man, come on, bro. Ain't nowhere in the world you telling a nigga go file for Medicare. I work here and you telling me to go get food stamps? Nigga, is you for real? Food stamps? I got a job. My job shouldn't be telling me to go file for food stamps. And the crazy part is this is lower and middle management that's telling niggas to go file for food stamps. Why you even feel comfortable being instructed by your superiors to tell a nigga to go file for food stamps? I'd be like, man, I'd be like, nigga, you go tell that man that. I'm not telling that man no goofy junk like that. You sound like a goddamn fool. But that's what the people be on, though, man. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they had exposés on Walmart about that about 5-6 years ago. You feel me? By them being on that. You know what I'm saying? But what you just said with Amazon, I say, man, I already know that cracker don't like to pay nobody. You know what I'm talking about? That's why I don't fool with it. I ain't tell you no lie. That's why I don't fool with it. I done bought some things off Amazon, but I said it's got to be. I can't like that. Ain't never been my go-to, man. Let me get this, man. I'm not shopping with that crap, man. Bump that. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna break him. You know what I'm talking about? But I don't fool with it. I don't fool with that crap. And he a goofy. You know what I'm talking about? On top of that, and he a goofy. But go ahead, man. Nah, you good over there, man. I just want a definition for that. For what Omar said. Now, I say by the definition, Omar, crushing them. Yeah, man, that would fit it. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna look at it from that definition, because they're not using any trickery, of course, as the English definition, but they definitely are crushing people because you crushed under the weight of not having a living wage and not being able to do certain things. But I know that's by design, man. The middle and lower class. Man, them people don't care about you. They want you to die. They feel like you're a drain on society. And it doesn't matter if you don't think you are, they do. And that's why they have policies in place to make sure that you die. But it is what it is, man.
Yeah, I will say they will pay for you to go to school, though.
Yeah, they always pay for you to go to school. Because they hope, you know what I'm saying? Because they hoping that you'll go to school so they can leverage you into a middle or upper management job to exploit you, so you feel like you indebted, so you want to climb up the corporate ladder. They know what they be doing. They don't want to send you to school so you can leave. And even then, you still going to have to take out some manner of student loans, and then you're still going to be in debt to a certain degree because they ain't going to give you a full tuition.
I know in certain programs they'll cover fully, like trucking. They said they 100% will cover that because it's an in-demand industry. So
because they hoping you going to come drive their trucks. Notice it's always, whatever they pay full tuition for, I would bet money is something that could allow you to be integrated into their system.
Amazon partner with third parties now.
Yeah, because they ain't want, and you know why? And you know why Amazon parted with third party? Because they didn't want to pay for the truck, they didn't want to pay the driver, they didn't want to pay for none of that. What they wanted was, and this is the hallmark of American business, they always tell you about ownership, but them crackers don't want ownership, they want control. I don't want to own your truck, I just want to control it. I want to control where you go, how you get there, what I pay you. Because see, if I own the truck, I'm responsible for the truck, the insurance on the truck, the driver, the insurance on the driver, the insurance on the cargo. I don't want to pay for none of that. I'd rather have you pay for all of that. And I just get the bread. And I'm going to pay you less than what I would pay a full-time driver because I'm going to try to skimp you on the load price. That's a PC right there, man. Matter of fact, that's a PAC. And if you're from the South, you know what that means. But that's what that is, man. That's a real PAC cracker right there. You understand me? He said, I already know they do, Bear. I know you know because you out there. They don't want to pay for none of that, man. Because they know, man, if you a driver for Amazon, well, they're going to have to pay you. What you see UPS doing right now, man? Them union people fought for them doggone salary compensations, man, and they turn around and laid them all off. We'll give you $150,000 to leave. Because that junk was crazy because I seen Pink Book doing a video about it, and she ridiculing the union. The union folks supposed to fight for the worker, ho. They ain't supposed to make it like this. Now they losing their job. They were going to lose them anyway. That was in their plans. She blaming the union instead of blaming the cracker. How you blame the worker and not the cracker? That's crazy to me, bro. That junk's been crazy to me since I was a jit when the fans blame the athlete and not the owner. What's up, godmother? And not the owner. These rich athletes, so you just gonna disregard this billionaire owner, huh? I seen the dude stressing about that. And he said, man, they offered me $150,000, I don't know what to do. All these people in the comments telling me you can start you a bit. Man, shut up, man. Everybody know business owner. That man just drive brown trucks, man.
That's all you know.
That's all you know. He been working at UPS for 20 years. They like this here. Here's $150,000 for 20 years of your life, man. God damn it.
What you gonna do after this?
Don't care what you gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And you know what UPS gonna turn around and do? Contract with third-party affiliates because I don't want to pay you because I don't want to pay you union niggas, which is why a lot of companies don't fool with union people because they know they gotta pay them. Nigga, when we was down there in Tampa, man, and that man was talking about them elevator people, well, they was at the mercy of them elevator people because they union workers. He said they don't work on Fridays. If they gotta come in here, man, they come when they want to. Because you know why? Ain't a lot of people can work on no elevator. You know what I'm talking about? You just can't call somebody randomly on a Tuesday to come out and work on no elevator. Yeah, they don't, man. That's the last thing they want. That's why they like unskilled labor. That's why they like unskilled labor. Because they ain't got to pay you. And they feel like you're replaceable. It's a hell of a place. That's the type I'm talking about, man. Besides all the killing, the crackertree, and other stuff like that there, that's why this country need to be destroyed. Because, boy, you crack as hell. You know what I'm talking about? Well, y'all niggas will exploit a nigga to the T and got a nerve to say something about a pimp. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. Man, listen, you remember Girls Gone Wild? You too young for that. That white man was pimping them white girls, man. Young white girls showing their titties, man. Pimping the hell out of them. You Hefner up just pimping. You loving every minute of it. But guess what? He ain't the only one pimping because the Kroc family been pimping. You know what I'm talking about? Dave Thomas been pimping. Jeff Bezos stinking funky behind been pimping. The Walton family been pimping. Look at man, and everybody don't say nothing about it. But you mad because he got a hole on the stroll. He got you on the stroll going to get them cards. You know what I'm talking about? He pimping you right then. Let me leave these people alone, man. They gonna come knocking on my door. I'm gonna have to give them 2 middle fingers. Go ahead, man. Because you know they be listening and watching. You can't give it them. You say you forgot about it? That man pimped the hell out of them white girls for a short period of time, man. That man was getting to it. Look here, man. Every record company in America pimping. The banks pimping. Your credit union pimping. The car lot pimping. The mortgage company pimping. You say made millions and they got shamed. All of them pimping, man. Listen, right? You know, they put the article out the other day, right? But it was like, you know, it's more women buying homes, single women buying homes than men. The women celebrating about it, and they don't even realize you getting pimped. You don't think you getting pimped because you let these people convince you, man, listen, man, ain't a nigga in America built no wealth from owning no house. Not no house he lived in. You know what I'm talking about? And every individual who got money for real is not finna tell you the key to you getting some wealth is buying a house and you live in it. And people are saying, oh, what are the men doing? Nobody ever considered in their brain why men ain't buying houses. Not that the women are doing, because this ain't about no men or women. You have to sit back and look at it. If it's a fundamental shift where men ain't doing something, you ain't asked yourself, why they not doing it? You know why they not doing it? Because they seen that I'm going to pay 3 times as much for this goddamn house when I'm in 30 years. I don't want nothing to do with that. Especially if it's just me. A lot of dudes would be like, I know they're going to hit me, you know what I'm saying, in my butt, but I got a wife and kids, so I'll just get screwed. But if it's just me, I'm not finna let these people screw me with ungreased penis. But we don't look at it like that. And you know, we had this conversation when them people were talking about 50-year mortgages. Come on, bro, 50 years? 50 years, man? Do you know the amount of interest you're going to be paying on that blood? You say been pimping since pimping. I'm trying to tell you, we don't even pay attention to that because and I get it too. It's a milestone marker in your brain about I own a home. That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that if that's where you got your mindset to doing. Prayerfully, I would hope you would have a plan to pay that home off as quickly as possible. Because if you got to pay on that home for 30 years, well, you finna get screwed, and they know it. You know what I'm talking about? And they know it. And they know it. And they hope you never find this out. I'll conclude with this here after I read what Bruss said. We're just talking about this with somebody earlier. That's why people are renting. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I get it. And you know, home ownership is that's a personal decision. You got to look at where you want to go at and how you want to get there if you do that. There's no necessarily no right or wrong, but just know you're getting screwed. There's no way around it. You know what I'm saying? It's just how often you want to be screwed. You know what I'm saying? How you play. But I ended like this here, man. George H.W. Bush is quoted as saying that if the United States people, if the American citizens learn the financial system, there will be a revolution in the morning. You know what I'm saying? He quoted for this. You can go look it up. You can find it yourself. If you really understood the financial system in the United States of America, there would be a revolution in the morning. This is what George Bush 1 said out his mouth. Let me find that. Y'all don't want to think I'm making that up. Now, see, I learned this before I was in the world. I learned this in my 20s. Damn, I can't spell George. What verse we in, by the way? We back in Job 32? No, that's too. They got the younger Bush. We don't want the younger Bush.
Can we get some verse 3?
No, they still pulling up the younger Bush. We don't want the younger Bush. He could have misquoted that man in that. Because William Cooper wrote that in Behold a Pale Horse. Hold on. I got that doggone book on my phone. but I ain't gonna be able to run through it like that. To find the page, I'll tell you that. You know, that was little Johnny working on his YouTube channel. He trying to tell you them games them crackers playing. They gonna be at Johnny door. You better have a big gun. Be ready to shoot it. They gonna come to your house. Oh yeah, I have to go through this man's book. I ain't got time for that. Come back to Joe, man. Looking for the kingpin bush. Say Jeffrey Epstein said something like that too in an interview with Steve Bannon. My God, today. Yeah, I ain't got. I'd have to go through Behold the Pale Horse. I can't go through that. What we have, man?
Verse 3.
What, Job? What?
32.
Come on.
Say also against his 3 friends was his wrath kindled, because they had found no answer, and yet had condemned Job. Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken, because they were elder than he. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these 3 men, then his wrath was kindled.
And Elihu,
the son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young, and you are very old. Wherefore I was afraid, and do not show you my opinion.
Oh, little Johnny, put your YouTube channel in there, man. Bro, just ask what your channel name is, man. Go ahead.
I said, days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there's a Ruach in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty.
The inspiration of the who?
Almighty, give them understanding.
Don't tell them what inspiration is. I know we took a long circuitous route to get to that particular verse, because that's what we really came over here for.
That is neshama, that is breath. We got spirit. We got breath of Elohim, breath of man.
So you look at the inspiration, it's the Ruach of God, or the breath of God, that give inspiration to man. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 19 on general principle. And that's what people sit back and look at that. Yes, inspired, because it's the breath of God that give the inspiration. Now, whether people believe that or not, that's outside of my control. Come on. 2 Peter 1 and 19.
He said, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that you take heed, as unto a light that shine in a dark place, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any.
Yeah, that's probably it right there. You have to put the link to it. Go ahead.
For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but Kadashman of Elohim spake as they were moved by the Ruach HaKadosh.
They were inspired and moved as they spake by what?
The Ruach HaKadosh.
Go to 1 Peter 1 and 13. Yeah, that's what it said on there. That's quoted in and Behold the Pale Horse. That quote. But that's where I read it at. That's where I read it at. First time I read Behold the Pale Horse, I think William Cooper was killed in 2001, which of course at that time I didn't know he was dead. I think the first time I read Behold the Pale Horse was right before I went to prison, so it's probably about 2004. Yeah, about 2004. Go ahead.
What book you said?
I don't know what you just read.
I read 2 Peter 1:19.
Oh, 1 Peter 1 and 13.
Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahuah HaMashiach. As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust and your ignorance.
Notice how I say not fashioning yourself according to the what?
Former lust.
When you didn't know no better. And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, that we can't form or make ourselves in God according to the desires that we had when we didn't know no better. Go ahead, man. Indeed, man. I got it on my phone. I got a PDF file. Shalom, Brother Margaret, man.
So, but as he which have called you is Kadash, so be you Kadash in all manner of conversation. Because it is written, be you Kadash, for I am Kadash. If you call him the Abba, who without respect of persons judge according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. For as much as you know that you were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold, from your vain conversation received by tradition from your fathers, but with the precious blood of a Mashiach, as of a lamb without blemish.
No, ain't what I want. You need to go back down some, man. Go to 1 Peter 1 and 7. Yeah, here you go right here. Damn, y'all can't see that, John. I don't even remember what a thing at to turn the lights down on this hole.
So that the trolley of faith, being much more precious than of gold that perish, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and esteem at the appearing of Yahuah HaMashiach, whom having not seen you love, and whom though now you see him not yet believing, you rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of esteem, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you, searching what manner of time the Ruach of Hamashiach, which was in them, did signify.
There it is.
When it testified beforehand the sufferings of Hamashiach and the esteem that should follow.
That's good. Listen, I'm gonna read this part right here. This is from Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. I know we had a conversation sometime last year about social engineering. And I know I read some stuff to y'all about social engineering. This is how this thing opens up. It is patently impossible to discuss social engineering or the automation of society, i.e. the engineering of social automation systems, silent weapons, on a national or worldwide scale without implying extensive objectives of social control and destruction of human life, i.e. slavery and genocide. This manual is in and of itself an analog declaration of intent. Such a writing must be secured from public scrutiny. Otherwise, it might be recognized as technically a formal declaration of domestic war. Furthermore, whenever any person or group of persons in position of great power and without full knowledge and consent of the public uses such knowledge and methodology for economic conquest, it must be understood that a state of domestic warfare exists between said person or group of persons and the public. The solution of today's problems requires an approach which is ruthlessly candid and no agonizing over religious, moral, or cultural values. You have qualified for this project because your ability to look at human society with cold objectivity and yet analyze and discuss your observations and conclusions with others of similar intellectual capacity without a loss of discretion or humility. Such virtues exercised in your own best interest do not deviate from them. Let me find another one. Because, I learned something today that I never knew. Have any of y'all ever heard? Hold on, let me slide this off here, man. Because we'll be here all day if I try to read out of that. Have any of y'all ever heard of the business plot? Is anyone on here familiar with the business plot? And all the things I've read about the government and things of this sort, I'm amazed that was able to escape my purview unless I just don't recall it until 2026. Has anyone ever heard of the business plot? Crystal just said she ain't never heard of the business plot. Anyone here ever heard of the business plot? Now, obviously, I'm going to read about it. Brother Mate say no. Joseph say no. Sister Regina say no. So let me read to y'all about the business plot. The business plot, also called the Wall Street Putsch or the White House Putsch, was a political conspiracy in 1933 in the United States to overthrow the government of President Franklin D. Roosevelt and install Smedley Butler as dictator. Butler, a retired Marine Corps Major General, testified under oath that wealthy businessmen were plotting to create a fascist veterans organization with him as its leader and use it in a coup d'etat to overthrow Roosevelt. In 1934, Butler testified under oath before the United States House of Representatives Special Committee on Un-American Activities, the McCormick-Dickstein Committee, on these revelations. Although no one was prosecuted, the Congressional Committee final report said there was no question that these attempts were discussed, were planned, and might have been placed in execution when and if the financial backers deemed it expedient. Early in the committee's gatherings of testimony, most major news media dismissed the plot, with the New York Times editorial characterizing it as a gigantic hoax. When the committee's final report was released, the Times said the committee purported to report that a 2-month investigation had convinced it that General Butler's story of a fascist march on Washington was alarmingly true, and also alleged that definite proof had been found that the much publicized fascist march on Washington, which would have been led by Major General Smedley D. Butler, retired, according to testimony at the hearing, was actually contemplated. The individuals involved all denied the existence of a plot. While historians have questioned whether a coup was actually close to execution, most agree that some sort of subversive plan was contemplated and discussed. Now it says here on July 17, 1932, thousands of World War I veterans converged on Washington, D.C., set up tent camps, and demanded immediate payment of bonuses due to them according to the World War Adjusted Compensation Act of 1924. The act stated that the bonuses would be paid no earlier than 1925 and no later than 1945. Walter W. Waters, a former Army sergeant, led this bonus army. It was encouraged by an appearance from retired Marine Corps Major General Smedley Butler, a popular military figure of the time. Few days after Butler's arrival, President Herbert Hoover ordered the marchers removed. U.S. Army cavalry troops under the command of General Douglas MacArthur destroyed their camps. Butler, although a self-described Republican, responded by supporting Democratic Party candidate Franklin D. Roosevelt in the 1932 United States presidential election. In 1933, Butler started denouncing capitalism and bankers, going on to explain that for 33 years, he had been a high-class muscle man for Wall Street, the bankers and big business, labeling himself as a racketeer for capitalism. Roosevelt's election was upsetting for many conservative businessmen of the time, as his campaign promised that government would provide jobs for all the unemployed and reverse the effect of creating a new wave of unemployment by businessmen frightened by fears of socialism and reckless government spending. Some writers have said concerns over the gold standard were also involved. Jules Archer, in the plot to seize the White House, wrote that with the end of the gold standard, conservative financiers were horrified. They viewed currency not solidly backed by gold as inflationary, undermining both private and business fortunes and leading to national bankruptcy. Roosevelt was damned as a socialist or a communist out to destroy private enterprise by sapping the gold backing of wealth in order to subsidize the poor. So what it sounds like, well, them crackers say, man, y'all trying to get niggas some money. It's going to make us lose our money. This cracker got to die. But yeah, there was an actual plot to overthrow the government of the United States. They did hearings on it. You can look it up and read the hearing transcripts for yourself. Clearly, they came to the determination that they believed it was true. The general that they're referring to is a well-known general. I'll give you a background of the general. Where's his name at? There it is. Smedley Butler. He was known as the Maverick Marine, Old Gimlet Eye, the Fighting Quaker, and Fighting Hell Devil. Says he commanded the 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, 13th Marines, the Marine Barracks in Quantico, Marines Corps Base in San Diego, 3rd Marine Brigade, Marine Barracks, Quantico. He fought in the Spanish-American War, the Philippine-American War, the Boxer Rebellion, the Banana Wars, and World War I. He has 2 medals of honor, a Marine Corps Brevet Medal, a military medal, and commander of the Order of the Black Star. And it says in 1933, Butler was approached by Prescott Bush. And if you don't know who Prescott Bush is, that's George H.W. Bush's father. To help add legitimacy to their business plot, when he told the United States Congressional Committee that a group of wealthy American industrialists were planning a coup d'etat to overthrow Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Butler affirmed the plotters of the coup and intended on using Butler at the head of a group of veterans to place the federal government under arrest. The individuals involved in the coup all denied existence of such a plot, but a final report following an investigation by a special House of Representatives committee confirmed his testimony. And after retiring from the Marine Corps, Butler became an outspoken critic of American foreign policy, military interventions, which he saw as being driven primarily by U.S. business interests. In 1935, Butler wrote the book War is a Racket, where he argued that imperialist motivations have been the cause behind several American interventions, many of which he personally participated in. Butler became an anti-war advocate, speaking at meetings organized by veterans, pacifists, and church groups until his death in 1940. Which basically he stood for the very things that I just was mentioning. Says no one was prosecuted. Guess it was because World War II was kicking off around this time in Europe. Well, not necessarily because of World War II. During the time that Roosevelt was elected was 3 to 4 years after the Great Depression started. So after the Great Depression started, everybody was poor. People came homeless. People lost all their wealth. The only people who had wealth was the Wall Street financiers. You know what I'm talking about? Around this time, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's when the Federal Reserve was concocted. Let me check on that when they was on Jekyll Island, man. It's a good book on that about what they did on Jekyll Island. For those of you who are not familiar with the area, Jekyll Island is not too far from Jacksonville. And it's where very, very, very rich people reside. The name of the book is The Creature of Jekyll Island. That is the name of the book. The Creature of Jekyll Island. I'm trying to see there it is. The meeting of Jekyll Island was held in 1910. It was Senator Nelson Aldrich, 6 top U.S. bankers held a secret 9-day planning session at the Jekyll Island Club Resort in Georgia. And that's where they came up with the Federal Reserve. And that's why you have it now. So where we at with this, Hibbo?
We just read the first Peter 1.
Yeah, we good on that. Come back to Lamentations 5. Forgive me, man. Politics was my main, thing of interest as a young man. I done told you that before, but I didn't know about that business plot. I seen it the other day and ain't looked into it. I seen it again today and looked into it, and I was like, well, damn. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga was finna overthrow this man. You know what I'm talking about? And the fact that Prescott Bush was involved is extremely unshocking to me, to say the least. You know what I mean? Having a damn Bush involved, because them some evil people all the way around the board. But nevertheless, George Bush is 322. You know what that is? That boy, that skull and bones. That boy, that got in that casket and tied that ribbon around his wee. You know what I'm talking about? And enumerated all his sexual escapades. I told you that's why they killed my cracker Tim Russell, man. Tim Russell was asking questions about that during the Bush-Kerry election. He wasn't supposed to be talking about that, man. You know what I'm saying? But come on back to Lamentations 5 and 5, man.
Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest.
Now, give them labor. And also, now, we went through all that and mentioned all that. And that's part of the reason why, if we, like what we read in 1 Timothy, that it's better for us to seek God than to seek refuge in anything that you could get out of this society. Because at any given time, people with more influence, more power, more status, and more wealth will make decisions on your life where the things that you're desiring, that they will make it their business, that you will never attain them. And that their number one objective in life is to have you subjugated and oppressed and just a hamster in a wheel to overwhelmingly benefit them. That's just the reality of the world you live in. You ain't got to like it. You ain't got to, but it is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? And that's part of the reality. Like I'm telling you, that's what you need to tell your children. You need to tell them the truth. Okay, yeah, you could go to college, but the purpose of why they have college in the United States of America is to make sure that you be saddled with an insurmountable amount of debt that you'll forever be a slave to the corporation. You know what I'm saying? And that in doing so, you will forever, when I say be a slave to the corporation, meaning that you'll never have the financial, mental, or spiritual freedom to be able to live life on the terms that you desire to live them, because you will always have to be indebted to working in someone's corporation in order to pay off this debt that they will never forgive until you pay it. You know what I'm saying? Because the only thing that the Rockefeller family and others of their ilk did when they created such a thing was to have you be a cog in their machine to where they stay wealthy, crushing and oppressing and ruling over you. That's the reality of life in the United States of America. You stupid. Come on, Phil.
Labor is a yaga, that is to toil, labor, grow weary, to be weary.
Now we know we talked about this about him growing weary. Go ahead and get him Matthew 26 and 36 one time. You see fishes.
Then come Yahuah with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, Sit you here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Then said he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry you here and watch with me.
Now his neck, we read in John 18, his neck was under persecution, right? Now he has labor and no rest. Come back and tell him what rest is, man. We don't got to go into detail on that because we just did last week. I just want to show that his testimony is here because that's what we've been doing.
Rest is nuak. That is to rest, to settle down or remain, to have rest, to be quiet.
He didn't have quiet because his soul was in anguish. Huh? Ain't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. 5 and 6 Lamentations.
We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread.
That's right. Our fathers
have sinned
and we've borne
their iniquities.
Listen, now we could go back and you can see that in Deuteronomy 28, and you can specifically because they sinned, and now you're bearing their iniquities. Go ahead and give them born their iniquities. Go ahead and give them born and iniquities on the strength.
Born is sabal, to bear a load, to drag oneself along.
To bear a load. That's what I mentioned. That's it, man.
And then, iniquities is all home.
So when you look at bear a load, come over here to Matthew 27. What's that? What I need, man. There it is. 27, man.
Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahuah into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers, and they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe.
Mm-hmm.
When they had plaited a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head and a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail Malachah the Yahudim, and they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head.
Mm-hmm.
After that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him.
That's right.
As they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his stake. And when they were coming to a place called...
Now they say he compelled him to do what?
Bear his stake.
Now, of course, if Yahushua bearing that stake, guess what he doing? He carrying that load. He carrying your iniquities. He bearing them because your father sinned. You know what I'm talking about? Read John 11 and 45 on general principle. Is it 45? About 47.
They then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, What do we? For this man do many miracles.
Many.
If we let him thus alone, all will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place in nation.
What do you say?
And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto him, nothing at all.
It's expedient
for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of Elohim that were scattered abroad.
That's right. So listen, he's saying it's expedient that one bear the iniquities of the fathers. Read Mark 8 and 34 for me.
And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, Whomsoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me.
Take up his what?
His stake and follow me.
Why?
Whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
What else?
Whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospels, the same shall save it.
Now come to John 19 to 17, where you'll see him specifically bearing that stake.
And he, bearing his stake, went forth to a place called the place of a skull, which is in the Hebrew Golgotha.
Where they what?
Crucified him and two other with him on either side, one and Yahuah in the midst.
So when they turn around and we go back to Lamentations 5, right? And we seeing our fathers have sinned and we have borne their iniquities. That's what you see Yahuah doing. He carrying that. You know what I'm talking about? He carrying that. Go ahead. Servants of what?
Ruled over
and
us,
there's none
that do deliver us out of their hand.
And we got our bread.
With the peril of our lives.
Our skin was what?
Was black like an oven because of the terrible famine.
And they ravished the who?
The women in Zion.
And the maids.
In the cities of Yahuah.
And princes are hanged up
by their hand.
My God, today. Tell them what hang mean, man. I don't even think we need to read none for that. And we'd be about done with Lamentations. So we can go to another one.
That is salah, to hang. Or to put to death by hanging.
And you know, he put the what?
To put to death by hanging.
Shoot. Galatians 3:13 on the house.
Hamashiach have redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us.
Because as it is written,
cursed is everyone that hang on a tree.
My God, today. Man, Acts 5 and 26, man.
Then went the captain with the officers and brought them without violence, but they feared the people, lest they should have been stoned. When they had brought them, they set them before the council, and the high priest asked them, saying, Did not we straightly command you that you should not teach in this name? And behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine.
With your doctrine.
And intend to bring this man's blood upon us.
That's right.
And Peter and the other apostles answered and said, We ought to obey Elohim rather than men.
Why?
The Elohim of our fathers raised up Yahuah, whom you slew and hanged on a tree.
Why else?
Him have Elohim exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Yasharal and forgiveness of sins.
So they hanged him on a what?
On a tree.
Princes are hanged up by their hand, and the faces of the elders was not honored. And we know from Isaiah 53 they didn't honor. Tell them, give them the word for prince right now, man.
You want Lamentations?
Yeah.
That's Sar.
That's the chief prince or ruler. He got hanged by their hand. Just for the taste of it, man. Diet Coke, man. Luke 24:36.
And as they thus spake, Yahuah himself stood in the midst of them and said unto them, Shalom be unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted, and supposed that they had seen a ruach. And he said unto them, Why are you troubled, and why do thoughts arise in your hearts? Behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see, for ruach have not flesh and bones as you see me have.
Say, handle me and see. Look at my hands. That's what he said. Prince been hanged by his hand. My God, today. And we know they didn't honor him. You could read Matthew 27 and 40 just to see how they didn't honor him.
And saying, You that destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. If you be the son of
Make
Allah,
it 39, man. I feel like we're skipping something.
And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, You that destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. If you be the son of Elohim, come down from the state.
Save yourself, man. Come on back to Lamentation, man. We about at the end of it. I might got one more to focus on in verse 21 on tomorrow, man. Go ahead, though.
He said, They took the young men to grind, and the children fell under the wood. The elders have ceased from the gate, the young men from their music.
Verse 15.
The joy of our heart has ceased.
Our dance
is turned into mourning.
That's what you see. Now pause. Say the elders have ceased from the gate, the young men from their music. Go back to Matthew 26, right? Go to about verse 30, man. Matter of fact, you can make it 26. Say the joy of their heart is ceased and their dance is turned into mourning. Listen to it. Matthew 26 and 26.
And as they were eating, Yahuah took bread and baruched it,
What
and
he
brake it, and gave it to the disciples and said, Take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink you all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Abba's kingdom. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then said Yahuah unto them, all you shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad.
Go ahead.
But after I am risen again, I will go before you into Galilee.
What did they do after that?
Peter answered and said unto him, though all men shall be offended because of you, yet will I never be offended. Yahuah said unto him, truly I say unto you, that this night before the cock crow you shall deny me thrice.
Go ahead.
Peter said unto him, though I should die with you, yet will I not deny you. Likewise also said all the disciples. Then come Yahuah with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, sit you here while I go pray yonder.
Mm-hmm.
And he took him, Peter and two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy.
What happened?
Then said he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry you here and watch with me. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Abba, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. And he come unto the disciples and find them asleep, and said unto Peter.
Oh, you already read it, verse I wanted, which was verse 30. When they sung a what? A hymn. When they sung a hymn, guess what that means? The young men had ceased from their music, is it not? Then the joy of their heart has ceased, and their dance turned into mourning, because he said he was exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Now come back to Lamentations 5 and 16, and let's see what he say, man.
The crown is falling from our head.
Woe unto us
that we have sinned.
Now listen, go to Job 19 and 10. Go ahead.
He hath destroyed me on every side, and I am gone. My hope have he removed like a tree.
Yep.
He have also kindled his wrath against me. He counted me unto him as one of his enemies.
Yep.
His troops come together and raise up their way against me, and encamp round about my tabernacle.
Yep.
He have put my brethren far from me, and my acquaintance are truly estranged from me.
Come on.
My kinsfolk have failed. My familiar friends have forgotten me. They that dwell in my house and my maids count me for a stranger.
Oh, back up. It's really verse 9. It's 9 we want. Verse 9. Listen to it.
He has stripped me of my esteem.
He stripped me of my what?
My esteem, and taken the crown from my head.
Pause. He said, give me the esteem that I had with you before the world war. Now, what we just read, what they did when they mocked him, what they did, they made a crown of thorns if you be the king. He said they took the king. Why? Because he made himself a servant and became obedient, even unto death, even the death of the state. So you see the crown is fallen on his head, destruction unto us, for we have sinned. Now, of course, we already read that. He became sin who knew no sin. Why? Because what verse did we just read? Our fathers are sin, and he borne our iniquities. So him carrying that state, carrying that tree, was carrying the sins of his fathers, if you would. The sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who violated said covenant. Therefore, the crown's fallen from him, and now he's suffering. First Lamentations 5 and 17. For our heart is what?
It's faint.
And our eyes are
dim.
And we just read how his heart was faint, because he was sorrowful unto death. But because of the mountain of
Zion,
which is what?
Desolate,
the foxes
walk upon
now
it.
We mentioned that verse last week, but we didn't get to it on Wednesday when he said about the foxes, man. When he say, tell that fox. Speaking of Herod, Lord willing, we'll look at it tomorrow. And you, O Yahuah,
remain forever, your throne from generation to generation.
And we'll look at that. And then, of course, him turning us, that we should be turned, that we be renewed as the days are old. Tell them what renewed is before we get out of here. It should be Kadah. What's the word for renewed, man?
What verse is that?
In Lamentations. You ain't looking at what you're reading, boy.
There's remained.
Oh, man, it's a verse 1. Renew us as the days are old. Hold on, boy. That boy's struggling over here, man. I said they probably didn't find it at this point. Oh, it's in verse 21. That boy's struggling. Yeah, you got renewed Kadash. To be new, to renew, to repair. To make it new, to repair, or to renew oneself. And we'll focus on that, the Lord willing, man, on the morrow, and we should be done with Lamentations 5 at that point. So hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. I appreciate y'all. Now bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Prayerfully you understood all those things. But yeah, man, if you again, the creature of Jekyll Island, if you're interested on that, man, I wouldn't overpay for the book. But if you don't mind reading PDFs on your phone, peace, Brother Joseph, man, I would just recommend just getting the PDF. You probably get it for free. And of course, the business plot. But social engineering, things of that stuff, oppression, that stuff is real. And of course, looking at what we was looking at on why the book say Job justified itself. But then also, amen, love you too, man. Hold it down, my G. But also looking at, like you said, I made a covenant with my eyes. And y'all willing, we might, amen, Sister Regina, shalom. We might have to go back and revisit that, what that means. Because you make the covenant with your eyes because your eyes see because your ear heard. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, peace, Brother Omar, man. Why are you thinking on a maid, or why are you thinking upon certain desires if you seeking after God? You know what I'm saying? There's layers to that. You feel me? Shalom, my G. Amen, man. Much love, my G. So, we look at that. Of course, look at the aspect of him carrying those sins. You being persecuted for the word's sake. The ability to endure that level of adversity, having the proper perspective of the things that you do desire. Because desire in and of itself is not evil. It's what you desire. Peace, Brother Nate. You know what I'm saying? What you desire. So you got to make sure that you got a good handle on what it is that you desire. Because the wrong desire can cause you to expire. You feel me? Again, to reiterate, man, because that's what are they, the 19th, the 20th? Mm-hmm. So we like 2 weeks from unleavened bread. So I say, man, April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we're going to be out east with it. You know what I'm saying? Prayerfully things go well, man. But again, if you're trying to perform, that's where the children, ladies, men, don't make no difference. I just need to know to be able to slide the days once I know who solidified, who normally wouldn't be here, to do that. They let me know because one person already know they probably be there Friday. Actually, 2 of them say they probably be there Friday or Friday night. Saturday be different. I'll probably tell you, man, Saturday, y'all willing, depending on what time we get up out of there Friday night. We probably start earlier for the Sabbath day side, and and I'll probably finish earlier for that Sabbath night side to facilitate enough time to eat, perform, you know what I'm saying, all that there, clean the space up so we can slide out, you know what I'm talking about? Because them people going to have service in the morning. So, yeah, that's what that is, you feel me? But again, I appreciate everybody. Bless everybody at the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. And, and this shoot, man, well, I already know most people who going to be coming from out of town that they slide, and some of them already be known, you know what I'm saying? But it's going to be enough space for everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? Sound system good. So we should be good to go, man. So like I say, right, we'll do with that, man, is when the performance side start, we'll just start up another stream, man, because we just going to stream because the Facebook group is private. So if I was to stream on Facebook Live, ain't nobody going to be able to see it. You know what I'm talking about? If they're not a member of that group. I ain't streaming on Instagram Live. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't. Amen, man. You a Baruch, my G, for sure. So there's that. So the only relevant thing to do is to stream on here. The performance is live. Like I said, there ain't no concert. So, it's not like everybody been performing back to back for weeks, years, and months. You feel me? So it's just an aspect, let people praise y'all, then, let you do what you do. You feel me? So that's how we're going to rock that out. Y'all willing, man, we have the people that we reached out to slide through, man. They come through, man. We have a good old time. And you know what I'm saying? Be able to build the doing something else in the city, man, whatever the Lord see fit or whatever that is going to be. So, Yahuah Baruch, y'all willing, man, till tomorrow, man. All right, Clubhouse, man.